This is completely crazy.
Yeah, this is a big game for Maxime. Knight G4.
Yeah.
I love it. I know that it probably doesn't work, but I love it.
F3. Just go F3.
You have to play F3 and open up the queen to guard all the squares. What?
Oh, nice.
Oh my gosh, what a find.
This is very cute. Very cute.
Now he can take with check, but it doesn't matter. The queen still responds with check. That was the whole point of the sack, everyone.
Just take on F8, and that's all. Queen F8.
Well, Maxime just resigned before even waiting for Wei Yi to figure it out.
Only one on time!
She resigned a winning position for her.
I wanted it so bad, and he did it.
Now take the room! Now take the room!
What a move!
We're ready to roll here with the Speed Chess Championship. Let's talk about who our players are today. We've got Maxime Vachier-Lagrave versus Wei Yi, the second player from China in back-to-back days. Will we have another one move on? It would take an upset in the 15/2 order. So it would be a big one if Wei Yi could pull this off. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave has an SEC record of 3-3 with his only 3 losses in history coming to Hikaru Nakamura. So what would happen if Maxime could ever get by Hikaru Nakamura? Well, he might win himself his first ever Speed Chess Championship. As we look at the predictions, obviously it's there. Maxime was clearly the favorite there at 58%, but we're going to roll through here to the format. Remind you guys that it's the same show you've been watching now for a few years. It's the most exciting, action-packed format that you could ever ask for, with 90 minutes of 5-1, 60 minutes of 3-1, and then 30 minutes of bullet. And we've got an interesting daily question we'll get to in a second, so I'm going to foreshadow that and talk about maybe another way that we're considering making the format even more exciting and interesting. The bracket is obviously single elimination, and the winner moves on. What are they playing for? Well, it's cash money, homie, and a lot of it. So we've got 16 grand up in the first round. That's $1,000 to the winner, and then another $1,000 split by win percentage. One of the things we try to do in the format to encourage that the players are always playing fighting chess, because every game counts for at least a little bit of something. Obviously, moving on is the much bigger prize, though. As less players stay around, the prizes continue to just get bigger and bigger, all the way to 2 players competing for 10 grand in our final 3-hour blitz match coming up later this year. How were the players seated? A lot of people ask that as we look at it. Well, they were seeded by FIDE ratings as of the July supplement. That's how we seeded the 2 through 12 pairings. And then we seeded our qualifiers essentially based on the order in which they got themselves into the event. We've got the Women's Speed Chess Championship winner actually throwing down tomorrow in the 13th seed versus Jan Nepomniachtchi. And our invitational qualifier, the 14th seed, the Junior Speed Chess Championship winner. Kind of a funny thing that we have Wei Yi, a guy that was invited into our main event last year, now had to qualify his way in, but he did so. So as much as we said, and we take a look at the bracket here, that Maxime is a big favorite, it's also, I think it could be fair to say that he probably didn't want to face a guy like Wei Yi in the first round. This is a guy that is obviously the top junior in the world, but as we said, played in the SEC last year, and along with a guy like Dingli Ren, who won last night, for those of you who watched it, considered maybe one of China's greatest hopes for an eventual World Chess Championship title. So let's take a look at what our stats say in regards to who has the best chances here. The 58% I mentioned earlier is really not as high as I would put it in terms of how I look at these two players, because of Maxime's experience on our server and because of his, I guess, blitz and bullet status that I feel is a notch above Wei Yi. But also, if you just consider the chess, the pound-for-pound action, Wei Yi's been above 2740, so I can see that. So let's bring on the players now and get ready here in a few moments for the games to begin. I'm flying solo this morning, and if you're with me and a little bit frustrated about that, I apologize, but you can get at me on Twitter, as you see, and let me know your feelings about the commentary today. We've got our players, as I said, ready to roll. the man from France, the Frenchman with 3 names, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave versus Grandmaster Wei Yi. And I'm pretty excited, pretty pumped. Chances I may be joined by a co-host in the later segments of this match today. But right now, it's just one man, one desire, and one opportunity to provide some great chess commentary as the games get rolling. And on that note, they actually have begun, and the timer has started ticking down. Maybe Maxime not aware that he's on the clock. Nope, he was. He was just double-checking that he remembered how the chess pieces move. That happens sometimes to 2800s. They just forget how to play, I hear, anyway. Let's remind everybody as the show gets underway here, we have a Sicilian of what our daily question is, if that's okay, because we want to remind you that you can get involved on social media. And today our question is an interesting one because it relates to the format. We've been wondering what are some ways we can continue to not only add excitement but make every game count even more. One way might be to dismiss draws in terms of their total score and have not only those points but actually that money carry over into a future game. So that would make the game following it perhaps worth double or even triple if they continued to draw. And something that might be interesting to consider if you're looking for even more fighting chess. So curious on your thoughts on this, fans. Let us know on social media. Use the hashtag SpeedChess. You can hold your mouse over the Twitch extension, the Twitch player if you happen to be viewing on Twitch, and vote directly there. But all right, we're going to dive into commentary here. I can't wait to do it. I'm pretty excited to see what these guys got for us. So we had a Sicilian. If we analyze and back this thing up, we had a Rossalimo, what seems to be super in vogue these days, these bishop to b5 development. And after bishop d7 takes and then c4, what you have is a Maroczy bind structure where 2 differences, both positive and negative for both sides. White won't have the bad bishop kind of locked inside the light squares and the pawn structure there. But black, also normally struggling for space, has gotten rid of one of those pieces, which means black's development is a little bit accelerated, and the pieces aren't wrestling each other for so many squares. So that's kind of the storyline of this particular pawn structure as we reach the middle game. Again, where white normally having this light square bishop is kind of a bad piece, although also important in some ways to hold the structure together. Black normally having his light square bishop normally sits on d7, which again just kind of makes the pieces a little bit cramped. So the fact that black gets rook c8 so quickly, the c4 pawn is potentially more of a target without the bishop being here. So it's pros and cons for both in this particular transition. So rook c8 met by b3. Interesting move here, and I think that one of the key ideas might be that black is going to try to move this knight from c6 and strive for either b5, or in some cases, if you can organize it, eventually d5. And right as I was highlighting that, Maxime is now going to have to deal with the move e6, which kind of has the intention to prepare this. And one of the reasons you go for that in a Sicilian is because white has the more dominant space, a more dominant pawn structure. If you can change that, if you can break through in the center and say equalize that factor, very often black is taking care of all of his issues, and sometimes the pieces that are sort of hidden over here become ninjas and sort of pounce on the center and come to life. So the double-edgedness of e6, I think double-edgedness is a word. Is it too early to use words like double-edgedness? I hope not. But e6 is weakening the d pawn, right? So once you commit this, you can't really go back. So we see Maxime playing knight e2, and he's going to try to punish Wei Yi for that. He's opening the d-file, hitting the d6 pawn, and trying to really put the clamps on the d5 breakthrough, saying, "You're not today, Junior. Not today, Junior." Which, by the way, is an appropriate reference given that Wei Yi qualified his way in to this event via the Junior Speed Chess Championship. So, not today, Junior. It's a real thing. Let's remind everybody who he is. He may have qualified his way in, but he's also number 3 in China. So he's one of the top players in the world, known as Love on Chess.com. I like that username. Maybe not as much as Chef's House from last night's match with Ding Li Ren, but I do enjoy the Love username. He's number 3, as we said, in China, top 5 in China in all the major categories, classical, rapid, and blitz. So this guy is pretty good. What's Maxime eating? That's a good question, but who is Maxime Vachier-Lagrave? That's at least something we can answer. He's chewing on what I'm going to guess is almonds. That's his brain food of choice, but he's also number 1 in France in both classical, rapid, and blitz, so all 3 categories. He's also the number 1 rapid player in the world right now, which is Not an easy feat. We've been following this guy pretty much all year as he's just continued to perform at the highest levels. So exciting stuff. It's why Wei Yi has his work cut out for him. And as we go back to the live position here, I wonder if bishop b6 isn't just going to pick up the d-pawn. So what happened in this transition over the last couple moves as we got to know them? Black strived for b5, and this is what I foreshadowed. This is the common structural idea. Black has to make a breakthrough. Just look at the position, everyone. When white has much more space and a whole lot of pieces that know how to use it, you have to change that structure if you can't wrestle your way into an equal fight for squares. So b5 along with d5 are the ways you try to change that structure. But here, doing so, despite the fact that it comes with a tempo on the queen, in the end of the line, it opens up the square b6. And as we see Wei Yi kind of go into the think tank there, I'm going to guess maybe he just blundered that pawn. Because it doesn't make a lot of sense if we now get to the live position where Maxime just grabbed it. Looks to me like he's just going to be up a pawn and loving it, right? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, up a pawn and loving it. That's the new theme song. We're going to need a refill on the coffee today for sure. These jokes are already falling flat. So, all right, but he did. He won the pawn on d6, and that was the double-edged risk of e6 we talked about earlier, right? So you go for that structural breakthrough as black, trying to get d5, but the strongest players in the world can sometimes help those plans backfire. Black is getting some compensation, so let's hold the phone on calling this one just yet. If the rook could come to c2, you might get an initiative. The problem, I think, Maxime has just rook d2, and you got nothing. So now Wei Yi's going to have to think about how do I take advantage of what seems to be a temporary problem for white, right? Knight's retreated, the bishop and rook off place. He goes for rook c2, but as I said, rook d2, and the problem is I'm not really seeing a follow-up. I guess rook c8 makes the most sense for Wei Yi. Keep the pressure. Yeah, he does it. And now he can even trade and kind of renew the threat by bringing the second rook into c2. But in the end, he's down a pawn, and even as he goes for this line, I'm guessing white might have a way to go for b4. Man, when I go solo, I'm able to predict moves even better. I don't know what's going on. I need to get these grandmasters out of here. Apparently, I'm a stronger chess player if I just think on my own. So, yeah, this is the counterplay you get. Here comes rook c8, and if you force bishop f8, there's bishop h6 ideas. The main point in the end, though, is that black will have the move knight to d7, one of them anyway, to guard f8. So it's not just red rover. But there's other ideas like bishop c5 in some positions where you can actually take b4 and keep the pin and defend d2. Is that what he has in mind? Look at this. If bishop c5 and the knight has to come to d7 and you gobble b4, I'm getting my cake and eating it too. So Maxime is taking a think about whether he can get away with this idea. I guess one thing to consider is whether black can take, but then you take with the bishop, and I'm assuming that there's threats that are problematic. Okay, so no, Maxime actually decided that he couldn't get away with it and played the move h3, a more prophylactic approach, only to play knight d4 more slowly. And I think one of the things he's saying about the position is that black is still in a bind, despite the fact that he didn't immediately execute a bishop c5 idea. But I admit, I'm wondering what would have happened there, and I'm thinking there may have been something on taking d2. But no, I don't know. If you take f8, what's the deal, right? How do you stop bishop h6 checks? Okay, not quite sure what would have happened there. Maxime up on the clock, though, so still in a pretty great position in regards to get a full point here in the first game. But I'll keep thinking about the position in my brain, so if I get that blank look on my face, it's not a dancing monkey in my head. It's actually, I'm curious. I'm wondering what it was on bishop c5 that I was missing, but I'll figure it out. Don't you worry. It was just rook a1 check and knight d. Okay, now I'm going to show. Back to the analysis board. Got to show what I figured out. Here's the deal. I had to solve it. If bishop c5, the problem was check and then knight d3 check. Okay. That was the problem. There we go. Everything's okay, everyone. Crisis averted. We solved the tactic. Okay, so the knight comes to d3 anyway, and that actually makes sense as to why Maxime played h3 to begin with, right? Needed to create some space for his king, and I want to say that from a practical point of view, even if these guys will sometimes miss a concrete knockout, one of the things that guys like Maxime, I would say Hikaru, some of the best blitz and bullet players in the world do is they just understand the moment of the game as much as they do the need to find the concrete answer. Like Maxime, up on time, knows that he's in a great position here. He's controlling the tempo of the game. didn't need to go for something crazy. And that's why they always tend to win in games where, it wasn't necessarily a blowout, but games where they kind of outplay their opponent when it matters most under time pressure. Right as I'm saying that, speaking of Wei Yi holding his own in time pressure, look at this. He's won the B-pawn, and now he can calculate ideas where he rushes it, even with white taking on E5. It's going to be an exciting finish here. The rook can come back to B8, and the knight can come to D3. Yeah, he plays rook B8 first. Now you can play knight D3, which hits the bishop. But then bishop D4, and black is kind of sitting pretty, right? The bishop on D4 does a few things, everyone. It guards the knight and helps B2. Oh, wow. He's got something even stronger. He's just going to go after D2 immediately. Wow, look at Wei Yi holding his own. And if there's an upset in the air today, it's gonna have to happen in these time scrambles where Wei Yi proves his own. Not exactly sure why Super Grandmaster Vidit Gujrathi is disappointed in me. It could be a number of reasons. My wife has a long list, if you'd like them. But Vidit, if you want to explain why you're when so many Vidit, if you want to hop in the call and join me for commentary, you're invited, buddy. Okay, so if you want to bring it with the trash talk, hop on the mic. Okay, Vidit, you're welcome. Just reach out to my boy Nick, and you can be on the call anytime, man. But thanks for being here regardless of that. And congratulations, by the way, in playing in the quarterfinals coming up, October 4th through 6th. We have the Fisher Random World Chess Championship quarterfinals. And check out the players there. That is going to be some event. I don't even know what to say about how excited I am for that event. If you didn't could tell by the way I said championship, I was not kidding about how excited I am for that. Look at Maxime maybe holding the draw here, though. This is going to be interesting if he can do it. The knight will come to F3. Look at that rook on H5, though. Dirty dog traps him in a weird way. Okay, he should be able to draw now, that being Maxime. Did he just win on time? Oh, my gosh. Oh, the first full freak out of the day. No, he's okay. Oh, man, living on the increment, living on the edge. It is going to have to be a long day for this guy. Some coffee is needed. We have a peaceful ending to a very back-and-forth game one. And there you go. Well, Vidit, I'll see you in just a few moments. Haha, let's go. When my son says, haha, let's go, I say get in the car and be quiet, okay? If you want to hop on the stream, you don't have to be quiet, but let's do it. Okay. Now we're back in the night arc. Now, this is going to be an interesting storyline to this match. Is Wei Yi going to challenge Maxime's Najdorf? If we back up and analyze, let's remind you, everybody, that Maxime Vachier-Lagrave is known as the world's leading expert in the sharpest Sicilian, and that is defined as the move A6. This is a Najdorf Sicilian, and he knows how to use it. The point of A6, obviously, both accelerated attacks on the queen side, and usually it supports a move like E5, and the B5 square is not accessible. Just the very, very basic principles. We get E5, the knight retreats. This line with the fianchetto here on the king side is one of the more positional approaches. White wants to eventually use the D5 square and potentially transition into a big pawn storm on the queen side, and actually show that that's happening on the board right now as we speak, right? This knight comes to D5, you want to support it. You're positionally saying, yes, you gain some time with E5, but that might be a pawn move you wish you could move backward if you end up giving me full control over the light squares and be positionally worse to go with it. But black has the typical Sicilian counterplay, right? Accelerated compensation on the queen side, starting with an open C-file, constant threats to disrupt that grip on the center. And when that happens, things like E4 and D5 come under target. So, rook to C8 played. Maybe Wei Yi now thinking, hey, did I just really go into a Najdorf against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave? Like, what was I thinking with that? I don't even know. But I'm gonna figure out what to do now. The rook comes to C8. What are the right plans here for white? Queen D3 is a candidate move. This move overprotects things like E4 and D5, connects the rooks, and then usually prepares A4. But actually, as I look at it in this position now, I'm not surprised A4 was played. The fact that this knight is already on D5 guarding B4 means that A4 can't be met by a strike like this, right? White will just take the pawn happily. And that's kind of key, because one of the ways that white tries to punish the Najdorf is to make those pawns push even further, right? As this structure opens up, a6 is an obvious target as soon as the a file is open for business. And white also has the 2-pawn majority advantage, which if you let these pawns get where they want to be, it'll be things like c4 and b4 and a big center to go with the bishop pair. But Maxime knows this line well. You don't just give up your key light squared bishop and weaken a6 unless you have a direct follow-up. I'm going to guess the main idea is that if queen takes, we have rook takes c2. And if pawn takes, a couple things. One of them being that you've actually changed the pawn structure in a typical way to give yourself an attack on the king side here. You also have queen to c7 immediately if you want to hit c2, slide to b7, hit b2, and then eventually go back for the idea I've been talking about. It's one of the reasons you take on d5 to change that structure, is so that f5 is eventually an effective idea. We see that Maxime immediately responded with the move a5. That's the way he chooses to defend the pawn. Wei Yi plays the move c3. And I'm guessing f5 comes soon? No. Knight b6. Oh, that's a nice tactic. If you take a5, we have knight c4. A little bit of a fork. Do a little dance. Make a little fork. Get down tonight. And you don't want to part with the dark squared bishop. Maxime just has such a good feel for these positions. It's seriously fascinating because I feel like I would take so much time before making a choice to give up my light square bishop here. Kind of a catalyst, if you will, to the entire structure. But he does it so quickly and just knows that the dynamics here are going to be okay for him. Because if you can't take a5, black is going to play a4 next. And then black is kind of holding on to everything on the queen side. Along with moves like knight c4. Just, wow, Wei Yi's calling his bluff. Maxime gave a little bit of a Hikaru Nakamura number 13 shrug there. Not quite the full look up at the ceiling, but a bit of a head tilt. He gets knight c4. As we said, the fork commences. He wants the pawn, though. Impressive. Wei Yi is getting greedy. I appreciate your username, Dr. Gingivitis. First of all, let's fight Gingivitis together, right? I assume that's why you have that username. Not to troll, but to be a pillar of light. Thanks for being here. Also, appreciate the Chess TV chat. So many of our regulars. We got Max. We got Steffi. Typewriter. I call them the OGs of the Chess TV chat before the emotes were even cool to use on Chess TV. Those peeps were hanging out, being strong. So, all right, Rook B8 is played. Black wants to get happy on the B file before just settling on the opposite bishop ending here. Wow, look at this. I'm being visited by an angel with coffee. Thank you, sir. I think he feels bad for me today. I'm flying solo. He's like, yeah, welcome to my world, Danny. All the work I do is solo, okay? Got everything I could ever need here, including some Arizona tea, which is light and refreshing. All right. Okay, Maxime plays rook b8, queen b3, and he's going to continue to bring the pressure on the b file with queen c7. He wants to exchange and then bring another rook into the game. Yeah, the product placement. If only we got paid for product placement. That's why nobody sponsors our shows. They're like, you guys already get all the free product placement we could ever ask for. So, you know. All right, he eventually exchanges. He's going after e3. The thing about the position for black is despite being down a pawn, if you're evaluating it objectively as far as black's goals at the highest level of chess, black's probably just in totally fine shape to hold a draw in this game. So again, the point is, as much as we talked about the Najdorf being Maxime's expertise, remember, when 2750s go at it, black isn't usually more ambitious than thinking he should get a draw with his approach. And so if this is one that he has a theoretically kind of prepared idea that he knows he can go for this, even with the fork that only led to an opposite bishop ending, I'm going to guess that Maxime still feels like he's in plenty good shape to hold this position, not just because he's relaxing there, probably trying to work out that giant chest injury that occurred for him when I almost beat him a couple weeks ago in St. Louis. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, h5, h4. You can relocate the bishop to c5 where it sits pretty. And you have to look out. I mean, at some point, the dark squares on the king side could be weak. right? I'm not just thinking of some sort of, fantasy of a checkmate attack where the queen and bishop work together, but even in an endgame, these pawns stuck on these squares could be targets, so you got to watch out for that. Rook a6. Is he just laughing in the face of danger in terms of rook b5 and rook b8? I guess he was. Probably saying something like, you trade in the end of these lines, you may regret it, right? So, king g7, bishop f1. I don't know how ambitious black can be here, right? If black starts to do things like f5, the open 7th rank likely backfires. Moves like rook c6 are coming. So he finally trades on b5. I'm still guessing rook b8 comes. Now the b2 pawn falls with check. Maxime feeling it, feeling the dance, feeling the moves. Oh, and he sees bishop c1. Not sure where you saw this idea. If he plays b4, c3 falls. So he goes for it. What's he saying? He's saying, you show me mine, I show you yours. Rook to c6 intermezzo. He's going to eventually take on d6. The problem is b4 falls, and with it comes the second rank. Yeah, the way he's trying to bail out now. Queen d3 is a bailout move. He's saying, I want the endgame now. I'm nervous. Okay, bishop takes a3, bishop g2, but now black can play rook b2, okay, or rook b3. Both moves unleash the bishop. That was the point, to guard d6. He can put the bishop on c5, try to spy squares like f2, and don't... Oh my gosh, and he... Wait, did Leve just resign there? I have no idea. I'm just going to back up and take a look. He resigned in the position. Is it because he just knew he was going to get flagged? Was he just frustrated with the fact that he went from up a pawn to down a pawn? I mean, if you look at the obstacle bishop ending, black holds all the cards, right, with a dominant rook and bishop with more targets to come. But okay, resigning is another order, though. Resigning is a whole nother level of being frustrated, right? That's my level of depression, the kind you seek help for. So I don't even know what's going on with him resigning this quickly. f5 and f4 is coming for black, and so make no mistake, I think that black is better. But I'm a little shocked by that as we see the next game rolling. Maxime, not so shocked. He's, yeah, sometimes you get real on this show, especially when Dan flies solo. That's why we keep him away from those shows. So, yeah, we have a Sicilian again, this time e4 from Maxime. Not quite the Najdorf. I wonder what Maxime's strength would be if he ever fully focused on chess. I mean, has this guy stopped fidgeting since we went live, everyone? I'm going to talk to him about it afterwards. Get ready for a fun interview because Maxime talks way too much trash for his own good. All right. Well, we've got a Sicilian here. And we'll see how Wei Yi wants to take an approach to a typical Alapin structure where white tries to get the center and keep it. And what we mean by that, I talk about this a lot. And if you're ever looking for these types of events to maybe be suggestions for you in terms of how to map your own repertoire, I know my goal is often to just try to lecture on what I think could be educational for the viewers. Sorry, I'm a teacher at heart, but it really is true that every one of these approaches they take is sound and played for a reason. And so if you're looking for suggestions and maybe you don't like the sharpest variations of the open Sicilians that occur with things like d4, you see a lot of these players playing the anti-Sicilians now. We've seen bishop b5 twice here today by Maxime, but here we have a slightly different approach from Wei Yi, knight d7 instead of the move bishop d7 that was played in game 1. And that leads to an Alapin structure with c3, where what white's saying is, look, yeah, I want d4, and I want to have more control over this critical square, but I also don't want to give you the 2 pawns versus 1, a long-term positional advantage. So instead, I play c3 to make sure that when I do get d4, I'm going to take back with the pawn and be super happy here. So bishop to d3 is retreated with the sole purpose of getting that big center before you get d4. Eventually it happens. And this is actually an instructive point too, because if white achieves this goal, excuse me, of the big center, it's usually not in black's interest to take it, because that frees up the c3 square for the knight and then allows the big center to continue to be used. So if the Alapin, let's say, philosophy is executed, often black will just maintain the tension rather than capture, which is what he does here, and only take after a move like knight b to d2, because once the knight is no longer threatening to take the most logical development square, at that point you can trade and try to be a little more active in the center, because you're not worried about white having this sort of dream position you teach your students about, right? Knight f1, and again, on that note, because Maxime lacks the knight on the natural square, look what Wei Yi's doing. He's able to strike with d5 and then play the knight into e4, something that happens, again, because white lacks this knight on c3. So, good stuff. Bishop d3 played by Maxime. I think it's a structure that still has a tiny edge for white, just based on a space advantage and a bad French bishop. And it's one of those things where just suddenly you're analyzing and a man appears next to you, and you look for help, and you've been saved, and I'm not even sure he can hear me. Let's just keep talking as if he's not here. And Vidit Gujrathi will be joining us in just a moment, live from his beehive honeycomb behind him. I'm not sure what's going on with that. But, all right, so he plays f5 played by Wei Yi. That makes sense, right? Again, I like the whole approach here from Wei Yi, just as far as a lecture on executing based on what your opponent gives you, right? Take what they give you. He was dealing with the big Alapin center here and only took on d4 once that knight couldn't take the most active square. Once that knight was no longer in position to guard the most critical squares, he changes the structure by directly challenging the light squares in the center with d5. And just like that, now he's going to re-support the strength with e5, and just like that, I think I have a new co-host next to me. Vidit, can you hear me? Vidit, is this a joke? Vidit? Good talk, buddy. Good talk. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Now
Oh,
I
hey,
can
there
hear
you are. What's up, dude?
Hi. How's it going?
It's going great, man. Great to have you with me. I wasn't sure. Did you troll me there? Could you hear me the whole time?
No, I did not. I just had my mic as my speaker, which was really lame.
Ah,
So
got
I
it.
just-
That's right. Well, first of all, thanks for being here, man. I mean, not very often you see a Super Grandmaster in Twitch chat and invite them on your show, and they say, "Okay."
I'm always ready to cover Eric's mess, you know.
Yeah. Hey, we need it. Someone's got to cover up for Eric, right? I mean, that's usually Amon's full-time job, but you're here filling in. Anyway, so we just had our first win by Maxime, and now we've got what was an Alapin kind of Rosalimo Sicilian turned, I think, a little bit wrong. I feel like Wei Yi's about to get some compensation in the form of an attack on the king side, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe h2 and f2 aren't as weak as I think they are. What do you see when you take a look?
Wait, let me just make sure that I'm in the right position.
Okay.
So is it queen b3 check right now?
He actually just resigned, yeah. So the next game's underway. And he just resigned because bishop d5 straight up won a piece, actually, everyone. It attacks the queen and d3's hanging. So I had a sense that black was in a good spot based on the fact that there were some weak pressure points here, but turns out the problems were even worse. So, okay, in the live game, Vidit, we're following another Najdorf Sicilian G3 variation by Wei Yi. Can you see the game?
Isn't it h3?
Yeah, the
H3
h3 line instead of g3, which is what he played in game 2, right?
Okay. I'm still surprised that MVL managed to save the first game. I mean, he was completely lost in that end game.
Yeah, the first time that he played white in that
Hey.
Rosalimo, right?
It was 4 versus. Yeah.
Right. Well, what are your thoughts on Wei Yi, the fact that he's going into the Najdorf here against Maxime? You think that's a trend we'll see all day? Normally people maybe avoid the Najdorf against MVL. What do you think?
Well, if Anish was here, he would say that MVL's Najdorf can be targeted. So
Now, you work with Anish. Am I allowed
Yeah.
to say that?
Yeah, I worked with Anish. He regrets it, but yes,
He
we did
regrets
work.
it, but you do, and you contribute to his preparation. Is it fair to say you've been his second in many cases?
Yes, I contributed to mainly all of his successes so far.
So does that mean we can blame you for his opening repertoire's lack of bite?
No.
No? Okay, good. I
That's
like.
all he's doing.
Okay. Yeah, Anish would say that MVL's Najdorf can be targeted. Okay, is that a foreshadowing of things to come? Are we going to look for Anish to challenge MVL in the Najdorf? Yeah?
Well, I don't work with him anymore, so
Got it.
I can't speak for him.
All right, well, that was the safe answer. All right, well, what do you think? Would you challenge on MVL in the Najdorf? And what do you think about Wei Yi's approach here? We've got this positional assault on the queen side, the pawns on a5 and d5. I like white's position here, but
Yeah, I also like white's position actually. I mean, rook a4 is coming next, which is annoying. So I expect knight c5 to be played, but then bishop d2. So it's not so easy. Yeah, rook b8. Maybe maybe bishop d2 first, and then rook a4.
bishop d2, rook a4. And the main thing is that black structure is just kind of broken here, right? With the a6 and b4 pawns being disconnected. In fact, here he goes for your plan.
Yeah, maybe rook a4 right now.
Shout out to Pefim Oso, who just gifted a diamond membership in the Chess TV chat to Walton88A. Always love spreading the love over there on Chess.com. Okay, rook comes to a4, now b3, but I assume he'll play something like c4. Oh, wow. I thought he would try to strangle the pawn on b3, but he just takes
why
it.
not? Why not to just take it? Now rook b4 makes sense.
Okay. That's something that IMs do. When they're offered a pawn, they get scared and don't take it, Vidit. But I'm going to learn that from you.
This was a free pawn, and I like material. I'm like Yasser in this way.
Yeah.
I like
Pawns are pawns. Right now, you can even trade on b8 and play b4 if you want. And
yeah, this is just, I mean, absolutely, completely better for white. I mean, no compensation at all. So I think MVL just misplayed earlier. I didn't see the opening carefully, but yeah, he just misplayed, I think.
yeah, and it's fascinating because I guess we've been talking about Maxime being known in the Najdorf, but you said it. Anish Giri believes that there's some potential targets here, and maybe Wei Yi is onto something because he looks like he's better here. And I don't think he was really much worse at all in the first game either. He eventually lost because he misplayed the extra pawn in the opposite bishop position, but this one looks very good for white.
I didn't see that game, actually. I was just getting ready to
Yeah.
join the stream, so I missed that game.
It was a weird one because white was better, and then suddenly just losing. So, but yeah, overall, this looks like a match where we may have Wei Yi challenge MVL's Najdorf today. If you're just joining us, welcome. We've got Grandmaster Vidit Gujrathi, and thanks for being here. Guy just shows up here. If you don't know, let's remind everybody that Vidit is one of the guys who'll be playing on October 4th through 6th in the Fischer Random World Chess Championship quarterfinals, competing for an opportunity to go to Oslo and compete for the World Championship title. So, Vidit, you made it past Sergei Karyakin, something that Robert Hess, a co-host of mine, wasn't able to do. So that's why we have you here, right? Because apparently you're the better choice, you know.
Robert did come very close, you know. He almost defeated him. And I was rooting for Robert in that game when I was watching it.
And
He's
you had your
actually
own
pretty
tough battle
strong.
going on versus Blue Bomb at that time, right? That was maybe the toughest round you had. But when you got past it, you ultimately won the whole bracket, and we're excited for you. So, all
Yeah,
right.
Fischer Random is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just the starting positions are ugly, but once you get past that, it's a lot of fun to play.
Right. Well, how does Wei Yi convert this safely right now? Are we looking to play b5 as white? Obviously, you've got this.
If white gets b5, he's just completely. It's an improvement. So right now, b5, ab, queen b5, rook c5 is his idea. So rook c1 makes sense. Okay.
So maybe
now
now
b5.
is Black preparing something on c3 to get d5? Is an exchange sack completely out of the order?
No, I think he's just threatening to take on d5.
Oh, straight up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, exchange sack doesn't probably work right now. So queen b5 is met with rook c5. That's why knight b5. Okay, bishop d5. There is knight c7 trick. So
Yeah.
probably knight d5. I expect knight d5 to be played.
There's still some weirdness with the pressure on the diagonal. There's tactics with a6,
There is-
right?
Yeah, there is like bishop d5, knight c7, queen c8, but probably it doesn't work. So
Yeah, I was wondering if there's a6 intermezzo somewhere.
a6 right now. And then you attack the b5 knight in the end. So
Yeah.
a6 doesn't work
So this doesn't
either.
work because
If something went wrong for
wow,
bishop b3. So queen b3, queen a5 is the point. But white should just be winning.
I think even could you even trade queens on e8 and rush the a pawn? No need.
No.
He just picks up the bishop. Okay, yeah.
No, bishop b3, he played so quickly. He just lost, I think.
We're about to see MVL go down a game here.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Actually, for the match, I thought MVL would be like cruising through this, but I see that Vachier is playing really well so far. So it won't be easy.
Yeah, and you wonder if he's going for this g3 knight or for h3 knight or if he's obviously prepared. He's prepared to challenge Maxime in his wheelhouse, and if that's something he's successful at, then look for the upset. So.
Yeah, I mean, 5+1 is like the best chance because I think the shorter time controls favor MVL heavily.
Right.
That's what I.
Now you've played in a Speed Chess Championship before, right? Previously, your experience of that. What was your favorite time control and least favorite time control?
I like 3+1, and bullet. Bullet is fun, but it's really. I mean, I don't really enjoy it so much. It's fun to play as casually, but not something which I would like to have the match dependent on.
Right. Well, and we do our best to try to make the competitive balance fair by making the bullet only a half an hour compared to the others. But no, for sure. And we've definitely seen a lot of matches like yesterday's kind of come down to the bullet, right? Sam Shanklin, I think, performed better than a lot of people thought he would before
really?
ultimately.
I just saw the first few games where Ding won like the initial games in the Grunfeld.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't follow the rest of it.
All right, so we've got this line that we've seen now become a little more popular where White allows this bishop trade on for the knight on b1 and loses the right to castle. What are your thoughts on this line from a blitz perspective? White's dynamic chances. It's an interesting decision to lose the right to castle, but typically the king is very safe on the light squares, right?
Considered to be quite pleasant for White.
Yeah.
Although it's very close to equality, but I remember one game Magnus defeated Wesley in Vaikense, which was that's what shot the popularity of this line. So there is some venom in it. I would not say that it's completely harmless. But I didn't like the decision of CD.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like Black has very comfortable position, just knight d7.
Yeah, so why is he taking d5 in this line? Isn't White normally playing bishop d3, king e2, basically do the same thing and maintain the tension rather than trade? So what is Maxime's idea of taking here?
I really don't know. This looks comfortable for Black. I mean, I would not mind playing this position from Black.
I guess on the one hand, White can play king f1 and king g1 if he ever needed to complete the castle by hand, but this is almost chess 960-esque. Not quite, but...
Not yet. a3 now?
a3 because of the threat of knight b4, and you're not worried about knight takes d4, everyone, because you can take...
Because there's bishop h7 in the end.
Yeah, and you win the queen. He's allowing knight b4, so he's saying, I want the transition of a knight versus bishop.
Which it's an interesting trade. I would take it with Black.
Yeah?
And probably Vachier doesn't like it so much. I think now White can be better slightly because of this knight c6, which I didn't like. It doesn't look quite harmonious.
Okay. And you wanted knight d7 earlier. You even said that. Is that because it prepared c5?
No, I just knight d7, c6, put the knight on f6, and it's a very soft position. I mean, in the same position, you would have knight on d7 instead of d8, which makes more sense, right?
Right. No, that makes sense. Yeah, just a better knight on d. Although the knight will come to e6, and maybe there's some long-term idea where he wants to trade the knights on the king side and have the queen and bishop do some opposite code bishop work over here. We'll see if the knight comes to e6.
Yeah, it's not that bad, yeah.
Okay.
So knight e6 or a4, that's the question.
Okay, a4.
Knight e6 probably more playing for the draw, going for the trade with knight g5. a4 is slightly more ambitious.
So A4 is like saying I'm playing for a win here, or just not quite?
Well, it keeps more tension. That's what I would say.
Okay. The main
I like
point.
the decision of A4. E4.
Now we have an
Now,
isolated queen pawn transition, but probably white will be looking to play D5 at some point here soon.
yeah, maybe knight E6 works. D5, knight C5, something like that.
Me likey. Yeah.
Let's go for it. I mean, if white gets D5 with knight on D8, it's a little bit annoying.
Yeah, the main thing there, everyone, if white gets D5, the knight on D8 completely gets restricted, and you don't really want to trade and bring white's bishop to the square. So indeed, Wei Yi agrees. We're getting the line we predicted. Will we see knight C5? Indeed. Look at you, Vidit. Your first Speed Chess Championship commentary, and you're calling all the moves. It's adorable. It's almost like you're a really strong grandmaster or something.
You know what this reminds me of?
What?
I was watching the stream of you and Anish during Speed Junior Chess Championship, and then Anish says that do everything, but just don't compliment me on my chess skills.
So I'm not allowed to compliment you on your chess skills?
No, that was Anish. You can.
Okay, good. I will compliment you on your chess skills. By the way, how's the beehive you're hanging out in? Like, what's going on with the honeycomb behind you? Are you okay?
Actually, this is not my room. This is my sister's room.
Okay.
So
she's got interesting taste then. Or your sister's a bee.
Sorry?
Is your sister a bee? No?
No, she's a doctor.
Okay,
I mean,
great. Good to know. Good to know. Okay. All right, what happened here? Is that bishop on h7 just...
Yeah, something really weird happened. MVL looks...
What he looks right now like he's not on form. That's what he looks like, right? He's about to go down 2 games in this match.
But this is not so easy to win, but it should be technically winning, I feel.
Okay.
Maybe takes a knight c5 or direct knight c5, either of these. Yeah, he goes directly knight c5, rook a4. Okay, there is some counterplay. I would not be so sure that this is winning because, of this pawns. If the pawn was on g7, it would be much easier for black to play.
Right.
Okay.
Everything is safer.
Maybe rook f8 right now. Rook d6, king g7. He goes king g7 first.
Yeah, we've already seen Maxime hold a game where he was down a piece and ultimately got a draw.
Yeah, but nobody's surprised. MVL keeps doing it all the time. I mean, even in the real over-the-board chess.
Yeah.
So, not surprised at all.
Okay, the rook's trading, I guess that probably...
helps black, yeah.
Yeah, it makes it easier for black because these rooks are so menacing. But at the same time, you got to get counterplay here before white just simplifies everything. Knight e5 is a nice move. If bishop f6, he'll play rook c7 check.
Yeah, so bishop d6, knight c4, bishop a3, something like this I expect to happen.
Okay.
Maybe there's knight g6. Is there knight g6?
Oh, that's what he's thinking about, knight g6 and then f3.
No, then knight d2, knight c4. Sorry.
Okay, he gets out.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
We'll show the line. Knight g6, king takes f3. The knight comes here and eventually gets in a position where everybody is guarded. So Maxime not going to play knight g6, probably knight c4, but then bishop takes a3. And I would say on an objective level, probably black should be winning this, right? But with blitz, time controls, and not always the perfect technique, that may not happen. Okay, but here comes rook takes a3. Now there's threats of rook a2, and look out for f2.
Knight f3 was a bit strange.
Yeah, kind of surrendering on all the aggressive ideas.
What happens after rook a2?
Yeah, I don't know.
Game over?
Yeah, that's what we've been talking about. Here comes rook a2 and f2, and is he just busted? Indeed he is, and he just resigns. Wow.
MVL doesn't look like himself at all in this game. Too many silly mistakes. I mean, the way he blundered the piece was so strange.
Yeah.
There was absolutely no need to do that.
Well, we know Maxime kind of struggled toward the end in St. Louis, right? And those who followed it saw Gary Kasparov's comments where he said that Maxime is kind of playing like a shadow of himself right now as far as... I saw it more as a compliment. I think some people took it as kind of an insult from Gary, but I think he was saying that MVL is clearly one of the best blitz players in the world, has been #1 before. But he's struggling a little bit. How tiring is it right now to be a Super Grandmaster with so many events? And is fatigue something that could really be going on for someone like MVL?
I think he told that himself, right? I mean, I saw some tweet where he gave advice to Gary not to play too much and he'll be fine, something along those lines. So he himself agrees that he's been playing too much, which has been affecting his performance. And not hard to imagine why that could be so.
Well, he's trying to keep the energy up, though, with all that snacking. We'll ask Maxime what his preferred nuts are of choice this day. But as I said, I'm going almonds. Those tend to be his superfood. But look at Wei Yi again. If you're just joining us, he has challenged Maxime in the Najdorf every game so far. Not afraid to go directly into it. Right now he's up 2 games. So if you thought, another a blowout somehow for MVL, I don't think that's what we're in store for here today. Shout out to the bits there from Bill Tetley TV. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. Again, we've got these. I would say they're not the sharpest lines always in the Najdorf, but these G3 variations, you extend the G pawn. What are your preferred weapons against the Najdorf?
It's very easy to play with white, and actually I've won a couple of games with this, with G3 system. Very easy to play. And again, it looks like something went wrong for Maxime. Bishop b6 is coming. E6 is a good move.
Yeah, you've got g5 just barely.
Yeah.
This is crazy, everyone. This move knight d5, if you take here, okay, among other things, like taking a1, there's also bishop b6 almost immediately. So e6 is played almost as an only move.
Knight b6 right now. White will play.
Oh, wow, knight b6. So bishop b6 would have been met by queen g5, so he plays knight b6.
I still like white's position.
Yeah, I still like white's position too, and I still like that just from a practical point of view that Wei Yi is coming after him in his wheelhouse. This is going to be maybe an interesting theoretical lesson for some of our stronger viewers just to see Wei Yi's approach to the Najdorf and maybe making a recommendation on lines. We know that Vidit, you just said you play these lines as white, and you've won some nice games as well.
Yeah, it's very easy to play, and the typical Najdorf counterplay, you don't need to be worried about that if you get a solid position from the opening. Do you think he'll take on a1?
I think at this point he maybe should, because otherwise what do you have, right? At least now you have a rook. But this just doesn't look good at all for black. I mean,
maybe castles right now looks just simple.
I think
chess,
white just castles. What if you just play simple chess? Castle, put a rook on d1, and just say, my minor pieces are better than your rooks, right?
Yeah, I would take white.
Yeah, me too.
But it's like the Shankland's game against Dingleren, where it can go easily wrong when you're down material with this queen sack, if you remember.
Yeah, the queen takes c5 line. You did watch yesterday's show. It makes me so happy.
That's why I joined today.
Thank you. You're like, if I'm going to watch Danny, I might as well join and do some commentary because
exactly. That's what my thought was.
Yeah. No, but we made that point, right? And you've played in this format. So jokes aside, there's that, where even if objectively we both agree that white's position is good and the exchange sack is justified, in a practical game, how often do you see those advantages misplayed? And then it just becomes easier to play with the more powerful piece, the queen or the rook, right? It happens all the time.
Although it's not so easy to do that in this position.
Yeah, this is a tough one for black.
Yeah.
So, okay, f6 is a principled way to try to get the rooks going, right, if you've got the rooks, but it also double-edged.
Yeah, 95.
I love this.
Queen d8 and bishop b6.
Look at this. Let's show the line. Nastiness about to come on the board with bishop b6.
So he sees queen f7, knight c7.
White's won back the material, and d6 is falling.
Can you play e5?
Oh, you'd love that, wouldn't you? Look at you. You're getting greedy.
I'm not so sure, though. Knight f4, it's a bit messy.
Yeah, maybe just take the d pawn, right? Trust the old guy here. That's Dan. Take material.
Yeah, rook d6. I like rook d6 now that I look at it more. Rook d6 and then...
he likes your move. You're like a pawn sack whisperer. Okay, knight f4. You called it, but now bishop takes f4, queen f4. And there's even moves like e6 Wei Yi wants, I think. I think he's just going to give up f2, Vidit.
Yeah, I would also... That was my first thought. Takes and go e6.
It looks like he might do it. Queen f2, king h1. If the bishop has to retreat, white's position and this e-pawn just look crazy
Yeah, but I
dangerous.
don't like Vegas technique. Maybe rook d6 was simpler, no?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I said rook d6, but he went with your move, so, you know.
So now maybe e6, queen f2, king h1. I wanted to play g4, but there's just rook f1, exchanging the rooks.
Oh, he's going for advancing with check.
King
Bishop d5 was creative.
There's king h6 or knight e5, one of these. King h6 and then rook f3. Is it possible?
King h6.
d7, queen f2, king h1, rook f3.
Oh, wow. Let's show it. Boom, 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 boom. Rook f3. Bishop takes, queen takes, and black might just have a draw. Very nice. In fact, that might be a key swindle to save the day for Maxime.
Maybe he can play rook f1 or something right now, but it looks really weird.
Yeah. MVL plays king h6. I think he spied this line that Vidit just called there. Okay, but he still have to figure it out. Wei Yi wants more.
Wait, this is completely crazy.
Yeah, this is a big game for Maxime. Knight g4.
Yeah.
I love it. I know that it probably doesn't work, but I love it.
f3. Just go f3.
You have to play f3 and open up the queen to guard all the squares. What?
Oh, nice.
Oh
Queen
my
g7.
gosh, what a find.
This is very cute. Very cute.
Now he can take with check, but it doesn't matter. The queen still responds with check. That was the whole point of the sack, everyone.
Just take on f8, and that's all. Queen f8.
Well, Maxime just resigned before even waiting for Wei Yi to figure it out. Unbelievable. Again, we have liftoff. If you were looking for a match, everybody, you're welcome. Vidit Gujrathi's here.
I would not expect this. I mean, 4.5, 1.5. I would have not expected at all.
You maybe would have thought that score for Maxime, right? Possibly.
Yeah.
This is fascinating, and I said in the quick pregame show, Vidit, would we have two people move on to the second round from China? I don't believe we've ever had a player from China even make it to the second round yet in the SCC. Both Wei Yi and Ho Yifan competed previously. They were both eliminated in their first rounds. So this would be history.
Did Ding Liren win? I mean, yesterday he won, right?
Ding Liren won yesterday, yeah. So we have Ding Liren already in the second round, and will Wei Yi join? And we're going to have an exciting match as we find out.
You know, when I was not commentating, I was reading the chat, and one of the comments really caught my eye. It said, "Is Wei Yi's camera freezed or something?" Because it's the same expression.
Yeah.
Throughout.
Yo, you got DM me right now. It's gonna drive me insane. You gotta DM me. What? You know what I'm talking about.
No idea what's going on there. We've got some background, but we were looking for a nickname for Wei Yi. We were coming up with the Iceman because he's just frozen on camera, and his moves are stone cold. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think he has a nickname yet for the highest levels. That's kind of my thing, is to give nicknames that people don't want and they're forced to accept. That's kind of my thing. So I don't know. The Iceman, I'm thinking, for Wei Yi.
What's your favorite nickname so far?
I don't know. I mean, you put me on the spot.
I put you in a spot.
You put me on the spot. I mean, I would call Magnus Magtown, but again, nobody liked that Magtown. I think it made sense.
I agree with
It doesn't make any sense. I'll come up with a great nickname for you, though. I think we're gonna go with the Wasp.
The what?
The Wasp. Because of your environment right now. And also, you sting like a bee when you play chess. No? Okay.
It will take time for me to digest that.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Let's think on that one for me. All right.
In this position also, I like black's pieces more.
Yeah, he's going to regain c5, and the center structure definitely favors black.
f3? Yeah.
Actually, that's a key point, because now the knight has to retreat before you can take on c5. So maybe if you back up to f6, white gets bishop d4, right? And now you're starting to grip on the dark squares.
Yeah. Although it's not the end of the world. Maybe bishop f4 is slightly better than bishop d4.
Gain a tempo.
You also attack the a5 pawn, like queen c6, there is knight a5, some cheeky stuff.
I wonder if Wei Yi just missed f3 because suddenly he's gone to the think tank, and you and I both like black, but after f3 now I'm not so sure.
Yeah. Queen e7 is kind of forced. I mean, kind of the only good-looking move.
Yeah, and he plays quickly queen d2.
Tables have turned, clearly.
It seems like white has solved his problems here.
Maybe black will go d4 and try to get some desperate counterplay with knight d5.
Ah. But even
Maybe
so,
black
white has the bishop coming to d6, right?
Yeah, then you just sack it. You have no option.
Just sack it, right? When all else fails.
Maybe bishop g5, f6, bishop h6. Makes sense.
Knight e8's a good move because it also prepares e5 for black now, right?
Yeah, knight e8 it's a good move. Oh, e5. There's bishop e5.
Wow, that would be crazy.
Is there bishop e5?
Yeah, I think at the end of the line the rook hangs. No, but he doesn't do it. He just backs up the bishop.
I'm curious if you missed it, or am I missing something? Maybe there's knight a c7, queen c3, d4 in the end of the line. Bishop e3 is probably right.
Okay. Shout out to our Smarter Chess predictions. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but after being an underdog, Wei Yi has now gone to a favorite after this start. So, crazy turnaround with Wei Yi sort of shocking the world right now with a 3-game lead in our second Speed Chess Championship match of the year. So if you're just getting here, don't go anywhere. This looks like it's going to be a thriller. Who knows, maybe even a huge upset. We've never had a 15 beat a 2.
For MVL.
Sorry, say that again?
Yeah, this game is really important for MVL. He has to win it. Otherwise, the lead is too much.
Yeah.
So knight c7, probably. Yeah, white's clearly better, isn't he? Just pawn up. I don't know. 2 pawns up?
He takes b2. I don't know, it's looking like Maxime might stop the bleeding here. Get a win.
Yeah, it's quite simple. Queen b4. Look at the time.
Yeah,
It's
huge advantage.
Big lead. Suddenly, the game became a bit slow. I don't know why.
Yeah, for some reason this game is like, it's like a weird like shift, like the ebbs and flows of the match. It feels a little slow, and if Maxime wins, it'll rally the fans in France to say, all right, Maxime is maybe recovering here. It could be my fault because we shaved him in St. Louis. Maybe all the magic went away with the beard.
That was epic. The video was epic.
Yeah.
G5 right now. Go.
G5.
Go
You gotta get aggressive as black here.
Yeah, G5 and then knight d5 is coming. Don't think so much, Wei. Just go for it.
G5. Where does that knight go? I don't know.
I didn't like c3 because of this knight d5 trick.
Yeah, and here it comes. C3 did feel a little slow, and you called it. Look at this. Is this how Wei Yi capitalizes on a blunder by Maxime? I think you have to play queen d4, but then bishop takes c3 anyway. Is he going to sack his queen? I think he is. I think he's going to play queen d5. He does it. Oh my
But
gosh.
it wasn't planned. It was not planned.
No, for sure.
At 6 just, I mean, what
Or
a
h6,
turnover.
right? Yeah, now there's bishop e6 coming, knight on b3 is a target, rook a4. What in the world is going on right now? Maxime is about to go down 4 games in this match. Just shocking.
We just jinxed it for MVL.
Well, he was playing well this game. It felt like the game that he turns things around, but as you said, c3 was slow.
This is just over. Just busted. Black can do anything.
Wow. I'm like blown away right now. This is about to be a 4-game lead for the underdog. We've never had a 15 over a 2. It doesn't happen in many brackets for a reason, but it might happen today.
MVL has to do something. I mean,
Yeah, he needs to. There he goes. He takes a deep breath. He needs to do something. If there's anybody listening in his house, maybe run in and just like slap him, like where he doesn't see it coming. Just like really, just like shock him. You know, get him to wake up, because I don't know what else is going to stop him right now from finding. He's finding ways to lose. I mean, seriously, Vidit, that position was great for White. We weren't wrong, right?
D3 was natural, but I mean, there was only one trick for Black with G5, and it was not hard to see at all.
Yeah.
I mean, he had so much time too. I mean, I really don't know what's going on. Probably it's just like the series of losses you have in Blitz, which really gets to your head.
Yep.
Otherwise, I don't imagine MVL doing such things. Otherwise,
too much high-level chess in 2019. Not enough puzzle rush. Missing easy tactics. You know. By the way, have you seen our new puzzle battles feature?
no, what's that?
Maybe we'll try to make you a staff account and throw down today while we have you. We'll see. It's a pretty awesome new feature. But it's where you basically play. You play Puzzle Rush against somebody. You get the exact same puzzles, and it's like a live match, like you would play Blitz, but you're both racing against the same series of puzzles.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Is it like in beta or it's already out?
It's still in beta, but will be out soon. So I beat Robert Hess in it, and then we tried to do it again, and he threw a tantrum on screen and like refused to play. And everyone was like, what's wrong with Robert? And they remembered he was throwing a tantrum because he was so embarrassed about losing to me. I hope he's listening right now. So.
This again reminds me of something between your match with, your commentary with Anish, where someone commented that Robert Hess is a much better commentator than Anish. And then Anish got trolled heavily in the comment section once he decided to, talk about it in the show.
Has Anish talked to you about his obsession with Robert, by the way, in general?
No.
I mean, he texts me pictures anytime he finds like a sign that says chess, and he removes the C to make it say Hess. He talks about like Hess.com, Hess24.com. He's texting me stuff. He's obsessed with Robert. So I think we need to talk to Anish about this. All right. Well, again, Wei Yi looking great. He's got the bishop pair. He cleans up the queen side by taking c5. I don't see a clear way Black gets c4 back. Bishop d4 now? Seems pretty...
No, bishop d4, rook d2. You have to be careful.
Just classic. I would blunder. Okay, bishop d4, rook d2 would be a fork there. You passed, Vidit. One of the tests of the co-commentator is quickly catching Danny's blunders. You just jumped level, buddy. Okay, rook c8. I guess this is where the compensation comes in. It's hard for White to defend c4 and a2.
Yeah, I imagine that Black has enough counterplay in this position.
Yeah. Okay, a2 falls. How do you take it? Queen or rook?
Rook, yeah.
There you go. And it's still an unclear position, though, right? I mean, White does have the bishop pair, and one of the things you'd love to get as White is something like f4 to dislodge the knight, but obviously...
It's still possible, but it looks a bit shaky.
Yeah.
I mean, if it works, it's really nice, because then you get queen g4 as well.
Yeah, the knight moves, and then you get queen g4. Okay, he plays c5, but still, watch out for f4, everyone, is a double-edged move, but...
Maybe c6? Rook d3, okay. Rook a3 is good move.
Rook d3 threatens to win a piece here. Ooh, did he miss it?
He missed it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
Maxime goes, did I just get a blunder?
Rook c5. You probably just survive.
Oh, my gosh. Unlucky if you're Maxime. He's like, what? He's like, I can't get your break. He blunders, and it doesn't matter.
Wow.
Although Wei Yi pretty much always looks like this game bores him. Like, he should have chosen Go or something. If chess is as easy as Wei Yi makes it look, you know? Yeah, or UFC.
Wait, queen d8? Is there queen d8 in this position?
Queen d8 might still win the piece. Maxime's thinking about it.
Queen d8, if he saw it, he would have played it.
He does.
I saw it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a very nice tactic, queen d8.
And this is very important because, again, if you're just joining us and you're like, wait, is that a typo? No, the score is not wrong. Wei Yi is up 4 games in this match with only 25 minutes remaining in the 5-minute portion. But I think he gets the win here. I know I said that last game where he was better and it jinxed him, but it looks like Maxime is about to strike back.
Yeah, I mean, queen d3 also doesn't work. So maybe just rook b5 in this position, trying to sack the queen and hope to get some counterplay. Maybe f4, I don't know. Just go desperate with white right now. Maybe f4.
Yeah, f4 looks interesting. Otis Monk is unhappy with me in the Chess TV chat. Clearly an MVL fan, says I jinxed him again. I don't think so. I think he gets this one. Now he's threatening rook takes e3. Watch out for that, which will end up being a fork of the king and rook.
Still not easy, no? I mean, you still have to work a little bit.
Yeah, the c-pawn is irritatingly strong.
Would you take on e3 to just simplify, or it's too much? Maybe just rook c7, convert slowly.
Yeah, rook c7. As long as bishop f4 is not a problem, I guess you can just play bishop e5. Yeah, he decides.
Bishop f4?
Bishop f4, I think bishop e5.
Then takes and queen e4.
Oh, yeah. Very dangerous.
Bishop f4, rook d4. Okay, that's the point. So bishop f4 doesn't work.
Sorry, say that again. Bishop f4 is met by what?
Rook d4.
Ah, rook d4. Okay.
Then you exchange one rooks, you know?
I think we're going to get some sort of sack now, or either that or, again, Wei Yi's having his first game of blunders. But speaking of first, Vidit, fun fact for you. Wei Yi, this year, has never trailed a single SCC match. He won every Junior Speed Chess Championship match and never trailed. It ultimately took him overtime to win. It took him overtime to win the finals, which was amazing. But he never trailed. He's never trailed in any of his JSCC matches, and he hasn't trailed today either. So, aside from the final where Jeffrey. Okay.
I think last year he had a bad draw. I mean, he faced Hikaru in the first round itself. So good for him that this year he's gone so far.
Yeah, he's had a great year. So I guess okay, in the final versus Jeffrey Zhang, at one point he did fail, but he ultimately won. He did trail, but he ultimately won. But other than that, he's really had a great year and been impressive. So yeah, I guess if he loses this one, then the crowd can get mad at me for jinxing MVL. If he finds a way to lose this one, then I'm the problem, not MVL's chess.
But I think the chances are low of that happening. Although it's still tricky, but I mean, at least he'll not lose. He might not win it, but he'll not lose at least.
Yeah, people just tuning in, everyone pointing out it's surprising to see the score, but Wei Yi has played fantastic so far, and MVL not so much.
So bishop b5, queen b3, trying to get some queen b7. If white gets the a7 pawn, it's not easy. White should try to do that.
Yeah, and it would be super hard to win that endgame. And one of the reasons, everyone, is the knight is just not the best piece when it comes to trying to convert in an endgame like that where your pawns are already doubled and weak. So Wei Yi's going to take a moment here, try to think of the best way to make it hard for black.
I don't like queen c6 because now then black got rid of the pin. So that's why I wanted queen b3 with the same idea.
Same idea of going to b7.
Yeah.
That's a nice move with queen f5 by MVL. He's inviting the trade because this would fix the pawn structure, undouble the g-pawns. Okay, now a5 I'm expecting.
a5, rook c5.
Aha. Queen b1 check, and I don't have any follow-up. Actually, queen e7, irritating because you're actually threatening rook c5 right now.
Yeah, so maybe something like knight at 6. Oh, queen f4. That's a good move. That's a good move. Rook c6 or rook c5.
Rook c5. Ooh, queen d6. Trying to force the ladies off the board, but Wei Yi says not so fast.
Knight at 6, queen c4, something like this.
Knight h6. Yeah, it's still hard for Maxime. Now maybe you can play knight f5.
Right.
You've slowly improved your knight. Yeah, Maxime agrees.
I think he'll win this.
Yeah, it looks like he's slowly working his way, but sometimes this happens when you're off form, right? It feels like every win is just a super difficult game to get, right? It takes a long time to find your form.
Yeah, indeed. But this now it's easy. maybe knight d4, rook h5, king g8, and
Yeah,
maybe
knight
you
d4. Okay,
knight
you just
d4
have
is a
to
bit shaky.
you have to be careful about things like rook h5 and queen c4.
Yeah, knight e6. I thought it's working, but yeah, it looks a bit
Okay,
shaky.
he goes for it.
He goes for it.
He's
Yeah,
going
he
to
goes
get queen
for it.
c4, knight e6, and I think then rook d5.
Queen c4, queen e6 as well. That's more clean. Then rook d5 was coming.
Yeah, maybe you were right. Maybe queen e6 was better, but okay. Well, he's still keeping it tricky with only 6 seconds. You got to admit he's handled the time scrambles well. And I don't know if you followed the junior speed chess championship, but when he beat Firouzja, everybody was shocked, right? At Wei Yi
Yeah.
upsetting Ali Reza Firouzja. But one of the things he did well in that match was handle himself in time scrambles. I mean, in many ways, he won the time scramble battles against Firouzja. So I've been super impressed by Wei Yi's performance. Okay, although here he goes down. And, all right, Maxime stops the bleeding. I can no longer be blamed for jinxing him, much like I was blamed for ruining Anish Giri's career when he joined me for commentary. If you have some bad tournaments after this, I don't want to be blamed for it.
Did Anish have really bad tournaments after he joined the commentary?
When does Anish not have bad tournaments? He and I talk about all the time that somehow this guy has the worst tournaments, yet somehow maintains world number 4 all the time. No, just kidding. But he actually, what?
He scored +1 in sync field.
I know. I'm kidding. He said he had a bad tournament, but with that victory over Jan in the last round, he actually did end up +1. So, speaking of tournaments, let's talk about you. So we know you're playing in the Fischer Random World Chess Championship. When is your next tournament? Is it the Fischer Random quarterfinals? Is there something in September here?
I play the World Cup.
Okay.
Starts in I leave in a couple of days for that.
Okay, so the World Cup, obviously a big one. We hope you go all the way there, right? And then miss the Fischer Random quarterfinals. But after that, after the World Cup, the quarterfinals for the Fischer Random World Chess Championship, you're also playing at the FIDE Chess.com Grand Swiss, right? The Isle of Man.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm playing that. Yeah.
We know you're a fan of the Isle of Man. Last year, you and I got to go over a couple of your games. You like it there?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Will you be joining too?
I'm not coming this year. Because I have a wife and 4 kids that would I have to go directly from our company meetup, which is in Mexico this year, to Oslo, Norway for the World Championship for the Fischer Random. So if I was in Isle of Man too, I would literally be gone for almost a month. And so I'm probably going to be a part of the commentary team right here from Studio C, doing some sort of remote call-in. Maybe we'll get you in an interview, but no, I will not be at the Isle of Man live. So.
Cool.
All right, so what's going on here psychologically, Vidit? We've got a big win there for Maxime. Even though Wei Yi has the lead, right, he definitely wants to keep that because he knows as the time controls get faster what a beast MVL can be. So what do you think both players are thinking about here?
Usually what happens is after losing the first game, you play a little bit slowly because your confidence is slightly shaken.
Right.
And if you lose the game, again, you even play more slow. So this game is quite important. If he holds this, he'll restore his confidence.
Okay.
And it looks doable right now. What's the time left for this section?
So we've got 17 minutes right now, pretty much exactly. So it's possible we could only have one more game after this, depending on how long it goes, right? Given that it just started. I think we'll get at least one more.
Prediction? What's your score prediction?
After the 5-1?
Yeah.
I'm going to call 6-3. I think Maxime gets another win and we get a draw. 6-3, Wei Yi going into 3-1. That's my prediction.
Wait, if Maxime wins, isn't he going to be on 3.5?
I'm not good at math. I'm going to guess 6-4. All right. So I was looking at Vidit's score, thinking he'd only get a half a point, but that's your fearless chief chess officer here, leading the way with math. All right.
I just heard a lot of background noises laughing.
Yeah, they make fun of me all the time. All right, knight to b6 is played. What has White got here?
Okay, Queen C2
I wasn't laughing
or something like the Queen
at
C1.
you, Danny. I was laughing with you.
Hey,
then
that's
bishop
okay.
C2.
That's okay. High school dropout, proud of it. All right, knight b6. We've got
Maybe some Queen C1.
because you got to deal with b2, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to play bishop c3. Not like this. No, just queen d1 and takes on c3. I don't like what he did.
The way you just said not like this, you sounded like Switch from The Matrix.
What?
You know the scene where they all start getting unplugged from The Matrix and die because the guy goes bad and they just start pulling the plugs?
I might sound like a really boring guy because I don't remember Matrix. I mean, I've seen it, but I don't remember anything.
And she's
absolutely
like,
from
not
it.
like this. Not like this. So anyway, you sounded like Switch there, but that's okay.
I hope that's a good
It
thing.
was a good thing. It was a cool moment. Sad moment, but cool. And kind of like that position there because you didn't like bishop c3 played in that move order. Let's talk about why.
Because the structure is ruined. I mean, why
Yeah.
would you do that?
You've got the bad c-pawn, so why did he do it? I mean, queen to c1, he seemed like he had time.
Maybe now just knight c6. It's still slightly better for white. There's some pressure, but I would not have played bishop c3 and ruined my pawn structure. Knight a4 is good move. Interesting. Maybe now knight b5. Let's go for it. c4.
c4, I think we're going to get your knight b5. The question is, do you ever want to take on c6 here as white to return the favor and give black bad pawn structure?
No, not at all. I mean,
The bishop
it would
is too
make
good.
sense if I could get the knight on c5 or something, the other knight on a3, but that's not happening.
Okay, so he's going to try to get the pawn to c5 in some of these positions, right? Make b7 weak and... Okay.
Yeah, maybe now just bishop g4 and then the other rook to c8 and black is completely fine. Black needs to get the rook on c8.
So white has one more move to strike with some sort of initiative.
c5.
Yeah.
c5.
He wants to get the knight from a3, maybe to c4, and then a5, right? Trade off c6 so you can gang up on b7.
Yeah, in general, this is a good move, c5. Gives a lot of options. So bishop e6, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, he goes for it.
Oh, he does
We'll
make the
take-
trade, but it's because he's getting pressure on c6. But
I'm not sure.
what's the...
Wait, bishop d5?
Yeah, bishop d5. I was about to ask, what's the deal with bishop d5? But we're going to find out because he plays it.
Somehow I'm not good at guessing MVL's moves today.
That could be a bad thing about MVL, though, not you. So, Maxime not playing his best chess right now.
f6. Now, absolutely no reason why white should be better at all. He's getting these good positions and then just in few moves, he's spoiling it.
Yeah.
And it's been kind of a trend today. He's playing too fast, actually, in critical positions. He had so much time. He didn't utilize it well. That's what I feel.
No, it's a good observation. He's been up on time consistently, yet down in the scoreboard, right? This is one of those cases where maybe Maxime just playing too fast overall. And we've seen Wei Yi convert on advantages despite little time on the clock. So right now, black has a good spot with a nice bishop in the center of the board. Are you thinking about... Okay, he plays rook d8. I was wondering if you're going to play something like rook b2 at some point to try to renew the threat of taking a2.
Yeah, this way also makes sense to exchange the rooks. And now maybe bishop f5, just provoke e4 is also an option. And then go bishop e6 back, which leaves the
weaken
knight
d3.
e3 slightly vulnerable.
I like that.
f2. Yeah, how to improve is the question. I don't like rook d4 so much. Doesn't do much on d4.
Yeah, a move that almost optically looks good but does nothing.
Yeah. Just look at the time though. Just half a minute. It can go wrong for Wei.
Yeah, that would be huge for Maxime. Obviously, he misplayed the position as white, but a win is what he needs right now. He needs a win.
Okay, bishop f5 is a threat at the moment. Not so easy to counter that. This knight on a3 is so ugly. So ugly.
Yeah. I mean,
How do you untangle? I don't see a clear way.
yeah, you
Because
can't...
rook dc2 is met with bishop f5 again. That's annoying.
What about...
d2 is rook c4.
Can you get away with knight c2 at some point to try to head to b4 and hit c6? I know it's horrible.
Yeah, knight c2, rook c4.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
was going
problem.
to say it's horrible
The
to
both
allow
the
the
rooks are
pin.
free.
Okay, he plays
Bishop
king,
s5.
king e1. Perhaps he's trying to get the king in a spot where it could protect the rooks like king d1. Okay, but that would run into knight c3, so just kidding. Never mind. Don't put your king on d1.
Now maybe e4.
Yeah. Maybe it's needed.
Bit-
Your king
a
is
bit
already
shaky.
guarding d2, so you are technically in a position to play knight b4 now. In fact, he goes for it, right? Because now the whole point is the trade on d2. Sorry, the trade on c1, the king guards d2. And actually, that's a nice transition here for Maxime.
Yeah, and Vachier also misplayed. I didn't like this idea with rook d4.
Yeah. We're going to have a time scramble now, and Maxime maybe has a chance to strike a second point here. It should probably be a draw objectively, but time
I'm
pressure.
not sure. Maybe white is even objectively better. Knight d3 and go with the king, or king c3, king c4. And this double pawns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's clearly better in game for white. Good chances.
And Vachier
Now-
down on time.
Yeah, king c3, king c4. Knight d5. Knight d7. Knight e3. Let's see what happens.
He fixes it first. That's a nice idea, right? Makes f5 permanently weak. He'll take with the pawn, so knight e3 hits it.
And then king before king a5. That's the plan.
Yeah, yeah. Knight e3 will force king e6, and then king b4, king a5, once you've got these two weaknesses, as Vidit was saying. Okay, now you can just play knight e3 and then king b5, and that's what he does. I think he's going to get a win, and here this could be 2 victories in a row. Maxime is on the rebound. Probably you can just move the king and push the a-pawn, right? Forget f4. King b6 and a5.
I would play knight g2 and just, give no counterplay at all.
I know, but come on, king b6 is what, that's what me and Maxime would play, and he does it. You would play the safe move. No, I'm
I
kidding.
think the problem with the last game was that Vachier got too low on time. I mean, with just half a minute, and it just got away so quickly.
No, but what does that do for your confidence when you know you're off form, Vidit? So, okay, it's nice to get a big win when you just blow somebody off the board, right? But what does it do for your confidence when you know you've been struggling, where you basically, what did Maxime do there? He took a worse position as white, slowly worked his way back in, had to defend this king e1 plan, and eventually won. Is sometimes winning a game like that was a real struggle, more important for your confidence when you're off form?
If it was me, I would not be so happy because I knew that I was clearly worse in that game. I mean, probably objectively even lost. So my confidence would still be shaken if I was at his place at the moment.
Okay, but that doesn't help to make you feel like, all right, well, at least I'm defending when I'm down, right? I mean, from a psychological perspective, it's how do you right the ship when you know you're off form if you can't defend bad positions, right?
Yeah, but having said that, what I mentioned, then I looked that, okay, I've got 3.5 now. I'll be happy again. The score matters a lot.
Right. And we've got 7.5 minutes, so we'll see if my prediction was right. The second one after the bad math. If we get a draw here, that'll be 6-4 potentially as we head into the 3-minute portion. So if you're just joining us, we got 5,000 of you with us. Thanks for being here. It's the second Speed Chess Championship match of the year. Alongside me, Super Grandmaster Vidit Gujrathi. We've talked about his schedule. He's got World Cup. Then he's got the Fisher Random World Chess Championship coming up October 4th through 6th as the quarterfinals. I mean, even if you get last place on October 4th through 6th, it's still like 10 grand. So congratulations, you made it.
Thank you.
And if you make it to Oslo, you're playing for 6-figure money. So exciting stuff. And then you've got the Chess.com Grand Swiss at the Isle of Man.
Yeah. And congrats for having such a cool tournament like Fisher Random. I like the idea a lot.
Yeah, thank you. It's been obviously a very controversial tournament in some ways, the first of its kind to be an online qualifier that allows us to kind of say to the general world that everybody had a chance if they wanted to compete. Obviously, you kind of know that the best players in the world at chess are probably still the best players in the world at Fisher Random, so we're not surprised. Let's bring up the 8 faces that are playing in the quarterfinals. We're not surprised to see a whole lot of familiar faces competing for the big money because you guys are super GMs for a reason. But still, it was a very unique event, a lot of fun, and now that we're down to the guys you see there, I don't even know. I would have a hard time predicting the 3 players who will qualify for Oslo to join Magnus Carlsen. So Other than yourself, who do you think are some of the best players in the Fisher Random format that you're facing?
But I've not seen most of the games, but actually, it's funny that I don't even understand the format yet. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be 8 versus 8. I don't know how the 4 players are going to qualify. I have no clue. Sorry.
Hey, that's a great question because I don't even know if I know. No, I'm kidding. I do know. It'll be an initial round where then the top 6 kind of qualify for like a second round robin to come up with 3 winners that will ultimately go to Oslo. So a bit complicated indeed, but our best version of trying to get the format that the organizers in Norway, Dunde S and FIDE, wanted. So
Okay.
anytime something is like, slightly weird with the format, I just say, hey, it was Dunde S and FIDE's idea. No, I'm kidding, but it's been a great event and we're super proud and happy to be a part of it.
It's fun. And you know what? Before my match, I didn't even know like how it works. Like how do I castle? After playing few games, I realized that okay, you put the king on the rook, and that's how it castles.
Right.
Yes.
That means you didn't watch my video on how to I tried to explain castling, and online you just put your king on the rook, and that does it for you. But
Yeah, I didn't know that.
yeah, I'll give you a link to my videos, buddy. Don't worry. All right, well, joking here, but we've got another Najdorf again. Wei Yi not afraid to go directly into the wheelhouse, so to speak.
This time, Najdorf has been working well for MVL. Very comfortable position. Knight is coming to e4.
Okay.
Maybe something like knight g4 is interesting.
But still, there's the A file for white and the B pawn is a target. I guess black.
Can you take on d5? Can you take on d5 is the question.
Oh, wow. That would be quite risky to just self-pin. He does it. Apparently you were right. He just grabs the pawn and says, I'm not afraid of the pin. I'd be afraid of the pin.
Because queen d2 is met with e4. That's the point.
Ah, you block the diagonal. Very nice. In fact,
But it's not e4, b4. It's still messy.
yeah, super tricky. So the idea here, everyone, right now the knight is being double attacked in its pin. So e4 kind of forced, but as Vidit said, here comes b4, and if the knight moves, then the e-pawn is hanging yet again, as the knight is its only protector. So instead, after e4, wow, rook a7?
Oh, this is a good move. Queen c6, then knight d4. It's a complete mess.
Yeah, this is a...
Oh. Wait.
Knight d4 hits the queen. After
Queen
you
e8.
move it, is there knight f5?
Where do you put the queen, on d7 or e8?
Okay, I was assuming queen e8, but okay, you're right. Maybe queen d7 holds f5, and that would stop that.
Even queen b6 is an option.
Okay, wow, he goes to e8, but now the move I was worried about, knight f5 is an option, which hits e7 and unleashes an attack on d5.
Knight f5 is a good move because rook c7 you probably allow knight c7.
Yeah, I wonder why Maxime went for this. What does he see here? Now queen takes, hits g7, and that's...
Queen e5 then.
Ah.
But still rook c7 and then rook a8. So queen g5, rook c7, there's queen a1 check.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, you wake up the rook with check. That's key. We'll show that. If
Yeah,
takes, queen e5 takes here. If you were to take, rook a8 and queen h5 is mate, but you take a1 with check, intermezzo, and everybody wins if you're black. So
It's a typical MVL tactic.
yeah, out swindling his opponent, and here he goes. He plays e5, guards the spot on g7, hits a1. Actually, I wonder if Wei Yi miscalculated this. Now he's pausing for a think, and
I feel that there was something for white and he misplayed it.
yeah.
I feel something went wrong there.
Maybe your
was not
b4
such a bad
move.
move. Yeah, it was not such a bad move.
Yeah, maybe your b4 was better than rook a7.
But rook a7 is kind of a move which is so tempting when you see it that you have to play it.
Right. Yeah, especially because everything comes with tempo. Rook a7, knight d4. It just feels like the pieces are coming to life. Whoa, he's got more tactics, and we're not out of the woods yet. If we're MVL, probably you put the king on f8.
Yeah, I don't see what's next. King f8. Then rook c. No. Rook
No, he
c7,
goes
queen
for
f8,
it.
knight takes. I don't see anything for.
Yeah, he's defending, and now everything's being traded. Black is already up a pawn. Remember, everyone, he's already done the math on that. So the trade. Perhaps G6? No, you don't want to allow knight D6.
96. You have to be careful.
Yeah.
Ah, this is good escape from Vachier. Still some counterplay left. 96 is hard to meet.
Yeah,
I don't
96
see a
is
way.
super irritating.
So maybe takes and rook d8. What about that?
He plays rook
directly
D8 first. Same idea. Aha. But now you have knight E6 if you want, as Vachier.
No, but then takes and e4 is hanging. There's rook d1.
Yeah. Okay, I forgot my knight, the duty over here on E4. Wow, Vachier keeping the pressure. Again,
Rook
with
d7.
very little time, he continues to play accurately aggressive moves.
Rook d7 now.
Yeah, rook D7 might be forced to put the rook on a protected square.
Oh, rook a1. That's a cute move.
And look how quickly he plays it. Just goes right back to threatening a back range checkmate.
f6. F6.
You can also play King G8. But yeah,
Oh yeah, King g8 is possible as well.
F6 would free the back rank. King G8 runs around. As long as black can hold the E4 pawn here, it seems like Maxime's position will be just fine. But
No, I think with this such a big time advantage, black will win, and the position is good as well.
I don't know. I always get afraid of making those predictions just because of the increment changes everything in these settings. And obviously, Vachier works super hard on his opponent's time. So, but yeah, I mean, at this point, seems like black should be able to hold because he's up a pawn. Now B4 is a possibility, and he allows it. Giving up E4. What's he have here?
G6.
Okay, he's just trying to unwind, I guess, at the willingness to sack a pawn.
I like what black did, because there was some counterplay if he had played King G8 or F6 with like rook on the last rank. So this makes sense what MVL did. C4
And my
right
prediction
now?
could be wrong. We could have 4.5, 5.5, and a storm right back. By the way, this is officially the last game in the 5-minute portion. The time is up.
Position-wise, white is fine. I feel because rook a7 is coming, but the time is just terrible. I mean, you cannot play with 1 second. Just
He's
too
going to
tough.
try. He makes that move with 0.5 on the clock.
Yeah, no, MVL will win it.
Yeah,
Knight
he'll
b5.
take B5 safely now.
Yeah. But 1 second, yeah. And it's a consistent thing. I don't like it.
Yep.
To always pick 1 second.
Well, it was working earlier when it felt like Maxime was almost playing too fast. If you're just joining us, at some point in this match, Vachier was up 4 games. 5.5, 1.5. We've never had somebody be down 4 games in a speed chess match, at least the official format since we launched the SCC Vidit, and come back and win.
Oh,
So
that's so nice.
Today could be history. Maybe Maxime did it on purpose just so he could set that record.
Okay, let's not go too far.
No, I obviously I'm kidding. Of course he doesn't want to be down, but if he did come back and win, this would be the first time that anyone came back from a 4-game deficit.
Yeah, that would be impressive. Of course, you need a little bit of luck, but to come back like this, it's not easy. I remember in my match against Wesley,
Yep.
it was 2 points down, and it was not easy to come back. And what is this endgame?
He's up a pawn. Is it going to be winning?
F6, King F7, exchange the knights. It's very tough. Objectively, also, black might be just winning.
Yep.
Why is he thinking
The knight
so
endgame
much?
very close to king and pawn ending. Okay, he does make that move barely in time. So what would be your plan here to win if you were black?
Just play around a bit. You know,
Okay.
I think you'll win on time. That's what happens.
And that's but I wanted to know what your actual chess plan was, because the answer play
I
around
wanted
a bit
to
and
play
win on time
G5.
is what happened. But
Eventually, I would play G5.
okay, so is it? But here's the thing: do you put the knight on F5 first to maybe keep the king stuck, and then try for G5 where the trade happens, and then you have H4? This sort of
I
thing.
would pick the knight on D4 actually, because then if I put knight on F5, there's G4 for white, which exchanges one more pawn.
Okay. So you keep
Yeah.
the knight
And
on
maybe-
D4.
And another plan is to bring the king to D3. You know, if
Right,
you can
okay.
defend F6 pawn or something like this.
Okay, you slowly kick the knight out, bring the king to a more active square. So I think that's instructive. I know that the knight and pawn endings are supposed to be close to king and pawn endings in the sense that normally you have great winning chances here, even if best defense can sometimes hold. But we're never going to find out because MVL wins on time.
6.5, 5.5, 4.5. Now it doesn't look so bad, no?
Yeah, only down by a game. But again, if you're just getting here, it was a huge lead for the Chinese, but the man from France comes all the way back. We have a one-game lead for Wei Yi headed into the 3-minute portion. A close match here in our second Speed Chess Championship event of the year. We'll be right back, hopefully with Vidit Gujrathi sticking right here with me. But don't go anywhere. The 3-minute is coming right up. Welcome back, everyone. Chess.com's Speed Chess Championship continues here. It's our second match of the 2019 season. Yesterday, we had Dingley Ren hold on and get by the American Sam Shanklin, the first person from China to ever reach the second round on our own SCC. But let's talk a little bit about the Junior Speed Chess Championship and the path that Wei Yi took to get here. Obviously, we know that he turned a lot of heads when he got by. I'm going to go right to that second round matchup. The semifinal matchup over Ali Reza Firouzja. He also beat Pragnananda, of course, Jordan von Foreest. But really, that one where he beat Ali Reza Firouzja was the one that kind of made everybody lift their eyebrows. I think he shocked a lot of players. And really, because of the way he did it, he held his own in time scrambles and said, hey, I'm not just going to be outplayed in these wicked, resourceful, kind of tricky time scrambles, and even ultimately held on against Firouzja and Bullet. It wasn't until he played Jeffrey Zhang that Wei Yi had ever trailed in a single match in the JSCC, and he ultimately came back and won in our first ever Armageddon overtime event of any SCC. So just a reminder of how impressive Wei Yi's path has been to get here, and how excited we are to see what he can do against MVL in the faster time controls. Before we jump into the 3-minute, let me remind everybody of the daily question. And I want to clarify a little bit of what I think is cool about our idea here, because we're really considering this, so I really would appreciate your feedback. Please use the hashtag SpeedChess to give us some actual comments on it. We'll give you a diamond membership and maybe show your tweets on air, I promise you. Because one of the thoughts we've had about not only the format we already have, which is that every game is worth at least a little bit of money. Part of the prize fund is guaranteed, but part of the prize fund forces the players to continue to always think about the effort they're putting in, and it's not any sort of shade against any other format, but we know that chess at the highest level often leads to a lot of draws because it's hard to win games against players that don't blunder. So by making every game count for something, it's something we think makes the format more exciting while they race against the counting down clock. But we're also considering whether draws should count at all toward the total score, and maybe find a way that the prize money gets more significant for every game they draw and makes the next game perhaps worth more, adding a little bit more of interesting intrigue there. So curious on your thoughts about that, if it's necessary, if you like it, if you don't. If you don't even use Twitter, you can hold your mouse over the Twitch player here and vote via the extension, which of course is a fun way to do it. So no excuse. Give us a vote. Let us know your thoughts, and we look forward to it. So Vidit Gujrathi had an appointment there with his sister for dinner. So we're hoping to have the Super Grandmaster from India back here in just a little bit later on in the show. So your coast with you here, flying solo. Thanks for being with me. Maxime looks like he's still got snacks, so nobody panic. Wei Yi also put on his glasses. Apparently he played the entire 5-minute blindfolded. So now the stage has been set. It's a 1-game lead for the Chinese, and 3-minute is about to get underway in just a moment, right as I say. It's almost like they're waiting for me to say words like get underway, almost like I'm magically behind when the games will start. Here we go, E4, and thank you for being with us, all 5,000 of you, wherever you're choosing to watch. Please hit that follow button for the biggest, most exciting event coverage in chess right here at twitch.tv/chess and chess.com TV. All right, we've got another Rosalimo. We've had this all day. If you missed the memo, Maxime played white in the Sicilian several times, and every time he has played bishop b5 check. Wei Yi in game 1 played bishop d7. Since then, he's transitioned to knight to d7. And now we're going to get a different line. Still an Alapin structure where white plays for c3 and d4. We talked about the ideas of this. White wants to get a big center and keep it rather than exchange it as you do in open Sicilians. c3 prepares the c2 square for the bishop. And it's a very nice, very kind of safe structure for white. Not the most challenging in the sharpest theory. But e5 is also a very committal approach to the structure. One of the reasons is that if and when the smoke clears, let me just show what could happen. White has the outpost square d5 to access, whereas black doesn't have d4, and also doesn't have a knight on the normal square that it would come to use that square. So this can be a positional disaster sometimes for black. In fact, on that note, we actually see Maxime has taken on e5 in the live game after trading d7, and I'm speaking from experience here when I say that I've lost on the black side of these structures more times than I'd like to tell. Obviously, a Sicilian player for life, hashtag thug life, and also a Nimzo player, and sometimes against Tory systems, Tory Londons, you can actually get similar structures as black in d4. And one of the issues is that white gets the more control. Even with this move c4, white is getting to d5 before black gets to d4. And that's kind of the key point. He's going to exchange here and have the positional edge of the knight being more dominant there, and black being a little bit behind and trying to do the same thing. So, again, I know Diamond member Real Greco shocked to find out that I've ever lost any chess games in my life. But yeah, I've lost positions like this more times than you would think. So it's a good positional lesson every time, and I feel like I think that black should be fine objectively, but on a structural level, I think MVL got the better hand of that exchange, and I could see it coming. The moment e5 was played, it's a very committal way to play in these Sicilians, and I think white has the edge here. So there you go. We'll see if Maxime presses and improves me right about the edge, or if Wei Yi has something in store to show us why black's position isn't as bad as I think it is. We'll find out. Diamond member AVL PS11, a whole lot of numbers, says Valentina Gunina beat Chess Queen down 4. I was kind of referring to the main SEC that we had never had since we launched it. I was talking about the 3 years of the SEC. There were also other 4-game matches as well. Irina Krush came back and won a 4-game match. Sasha Ipatov actually came all the way back from a 4-game match as well. So in the format, we have had others. I was referring to the main SEC, but I do appreciate the correction there. I know you're looking forward to when I'm wrong. So. But that's what I was referring to, was the main SEC. But yes, we have had 4-game comebacks before, but MVL, if you're just joining us, was down 4 games in this particular match here. He would be the first one to do it in the main SEC. So, all right, B5 played by Wei Yi, and he's trying to target these double pawns as compensation for the fact that he's already sacrificed one. But what does MVL have in store after bishop d2? What if... Oh, he's got knight f6 coming. Oh, wow. He's got dark squares on the mind, mate on the brain, right? That's actually a really hard thing to deal with. In fact, I wonder if Wei Yi missed it. Bishop d2, we see Maxime kind of confidently sitting back. Let me just show the line. If queen b5, knight f6 check, I either win the exchange via fork emote, or you take, and I mate you on everyone's favorite spot over here. This is a problem. In fact, so much so that Wei Yi just sacrificed the exchange because he couldn't give up the dark square control. Fascinating. Okay, now if white has time, you'd like to get bishop g5, bishop f6, and exchange off more pieces, particularly the dark square bishop, because black does have some compensation here. Don't kid yourself, right? b3's weak. You've got pressure on it. If that falls, you've got 2 passers. e5 played, kind of the same idea I would hope for white, to put the bishop on f6. Yeah, but it's hard to know if white is really that much better here. I think white is, but d3 cuts off the communication of the queen to b3, so black is trying to take. One of the risks, though, if you took, and I don't know if this was possible right away, but you self-pin, so there's ideas on f7 over here. Could get some really, really weird stuff, even e6, taking advantage of the pinned bishop. So that's not what happened. Rook e to d1, bishop h6. Black wants d2. And shout out to Wei Yi, who found a way to sacrifice that exchange but maintain a super solid structure with some potential here. I don't know that white could lose this game without a blunder from here, but it is hard to see how MVL has a straightforward plan. Let's draw our attention to time for the first time in the 3-minute portion here, because it's about 30 seconds of an advantage on the clock for Maxime, and we know that he was up on the clock in pretty much every game in the 5-minute portion if you missed it. So if he continues to see that trend in the faster time controls, Wei Yi could get in trouble. But again, Wei Yi has not won in almost an hour. He was up 5.5, 1.5, and Maxime came all the way back to have the score that it is now, 5.5, 4.5. So Wei Yi needs to strike back here. Okay, rook comes to d4. He renews the threat on b3. I like it. Queen e3. Trying to get to e7. That's a problem. If you're Wei Yi, you got to be careful about that. It's always nice to spy squares like that in your opponent's camp when you have an extended pawn. Keep your eye out for tactics, because a trade would lead to a new lady. But Wei Yi quickly played queen d8 like he saw it coming. He's hitting f6, and Maybe wants a trade. I still have a good feeling about Maxime position here. I feel like rook a7 is possible. Okay, b4 undermines the protection of the rook. Is he going to try to overload the queen? Wow. Queen takes f6, takes c5. The rook can come to d2, and there's no devastating discovery. No, he doesn't. He agrees. Here comes rook a7, I think. And f7 is going to be a problem in a lot of lines. Ooh, rook a6. Overloading the queen's protection of the rook. Perhaps even better. Yeah, I'm not surprised the way this converted. Not just because of the clock. I also felt like Maxime had the edge here for some time. It just was going to take a while to deal with the compensation black had achieved. Now we've got f3 and g4 as an idea, taking his time, but I think that I think there should be a straightforward way to transition. If the queens come off the board, white is easily winning, right? Now he's threatening queen e5. Very, very nice technique, actually. In fact, I think that's going to bring the game here any moment. He plays queen e5, and yeah, with the ladies off, e6, and then c6. Too many pass pawns, not enough time. Maxime will take this game, and if you wanted a wild one, right, we had a 4-game lead for Wei Yi, 4 straight victories for Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, and guess what, ladies and gents? We have a tied match. 5,000 viewers, don't go anywhere. I think we're going to be in for an exciting one, but it's time for Wei Yi to prove that this isn't going to be a landslide the other direction. He has to stop the bleeding. He continues to play for the knight erf, and now he's going into the sharpest lines. Are we going to get a poison pawn? Queen d2. Come on, do it. Poison pawn it is. Okay, queen d3 is still, it's not the most theoretically known lines, but this is one of the sharpest, most theoretically prepared lines in the knight erf in the history of the game. I'll analyze it quickly just to set the tone of exactly what's going on, but quickly. So let's look at this. Queen to b6. The point is, black is trying to expose the pawn on b2 to punish white for this really early development. If white does any sort of passive moves to defend it, then you're ruining your right to castle long. Black can instantly start striking against the center. Knight c6, e5 comes. So very often, white is going to develop the queen to either d3 or d2 and just sacrifice b2 in order to gain an initiative that you now see on the queen. f5 and queen a5, this is typical stuff where black is having grabbed the pawn in a rush to regroup, get everybody back to safety, and hold on to the extra peshki. But the initiative becomes super crazy for white. Wei Yi took his time there before taking e6. I don't even know all the theoretical roads we might get here. This line after taking f7, king takes is met by queen c4, and you take c8. All I know is I'm kind of surprised to see Wei Yi go for this. He's clearly a little frustrated by the fact that he hasn't gotten a win in a while. Because he's been consistently playing these G3 knight erfs, the H3 knight erf. He hasn't been afraid to challenge Maxime in the sharpest Sicilian, but this is the first time we've seen him go full, really, really sharp Sicilian against Maxime. Exciting. He's down a piece. I think Maxime will play king d8. I think that's okay. King e7. The same idea. You avoid taking f7, not to lose the bishop on c8. But now, what are you going to have, right? You're going to have a king on e7, bad development, and defending against white's checkmate attack for the rest of the game. So, I kind of like it on a practical level that Wei Yi wants to do this, right? He wants to show that I want to get a win here. But something tells me that that's right in Maxime's plans. I think Maxime is going to have a harder time with these positional knight erfs Wei Yi's been successful with, rather than these super sharp lines. Okay, and we'll see. Yeah, he's won 4 in a row. Well done for MVL. We've got Vidit Gujrathi back with me. It didn't take too much time. Did you eat dinner?
I finished it quickly for you.
What'd you have? What'd you have?
Some Indian dish. You probably don't know. It's my grand specialty.
Okay. What are you trying to say? You're saying that I don't enjoy Indian cuisine? I took Anish Giri to a nice Indian restaurant in St. Louis.
He's a big fan of Indian food.
Yeah, he is. He actually, I'm gonna out him right now. He actually made me choose the restaurant because he wanted to go to Indian and his coach didn't. And so he made me take the fall. So anyway, classic Anish.
So what did I miss?
You missed a poison pawn. I was just highlighting that Wei Yi goes away from his G3 kind of positional knight erf for the first time in the match to goes for the main line. He played the bishop G5 poison pawn, and we've got a full piece sack on the board.
Isn't it like just winning for black? 95 next? Or am I missing something?
Yeah, I said that I feel like this is a bad sign, Vidit. I'm curious your thoughts, because I know that obviously Wei Yi has lost his 4th game in a row. But would you agree that going into the sharpest lines here in the Sicilian, the Poison Pawn, probably not something Maxime is afraid of? I think he's been struggling more with the positional Najdorf approach, and I don't know that this is a recipe for success for Wei Yi to now start playing into the Poison Pawn. What do you think?
I mean, looking at the position, I mean, what he got from G3, he was always better in most of the games. And here it's messy. Wow, King F7, Rook F1, King E8.
Yeah, where does the king run? E8 or G8? I don't even know.
He got in G3. This I'm not so sure about. Looks like black is just a piece up.
Yeah. And the D4 knight is also pinned.
Yeah. Something went wrong for white.
Yeah. Well, and I would argue that it's just, I don't think this is what you want to do against Maxime, even with the positional line not working, because, I mean, at this point, I would be taking Maxime if you start diving into this sort of theory. Look at the time as well, right? Wei Yi continues to struggle on the clock.
Can you believe that it was like 5.5, 1.5, and now it's going to be a lead for MVL?
Right.
I would not see it coming.
Wow, look at that move. Opening up the E6 square, I love it. Rook takes B7, he's going Queen E6 check next to take G8, but it still is probably not enough.
Wait, Bishop E7, Queen G8, King D7, Queen E6, King D8.
You could also just play King D8 straight up here and run to C7. Okay, he goes your route.
Yeah, because then F8 was hanging.
Yeah, okay, so this, now the bishop guards F8 and white is running out of checks. Note, he's trying to play knight E6 and he's like, oh, I forgot it's pinned.
Yeah, now it's just over. It's over. Aye.
Yep, this is about to be 5 straight wins for MVL.
You're still stuck on 6-3.
I'm still stuck on 6 straight. I guess I'm prophesizing, because it could be 6 straight very soon. This game is in the books. Wei Yi falls and
Turnover, no? I
right,
mean,
crazy.
Unbelievable. Now, it was such a good chance for Wei Yi. I feel kind of bad for him. It's such a big lead. He was getting good position, and then complete tilt.
Yeah, he's going to have to right the ship here. I mean, at this point, even a draw has to be a successful result. I mean, what would be going in your head right now, right? You got a huge lead against somebody who's a favorite against you, and that's turning around now. Right? I mean, what's going through your head right now? Your lead has disappeared. How do you go for a draw? Do you just try to stop the bleeding? What would be your advice?
Stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
It helps actually. Helps a lot.
Get the draw.
I've seen it many times. Yeah, just draw and then you normalize a little bit. But it's not so easy, in blitz. Even if you sometimes want to draw, it's not easy to get it unless you're Anish Giri.
Classic, coming from Anish Giri's former second.
I mean, the thing is,
why did you stop working with Anish so much? Is it because you're going to be better than him soon, or what?
Many reasons. I think he got sick of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I think that's the main one.
Yeah.
But he still trolls me, so we have that relationship. Right now.
He trolls everybody though, so don't feel so special, right? He's kind of promiscuous when it comes to his trolling.
I think he's 2900 when it comes to.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, if you're just joining us, this has been quite the amazing match. We have. Let's remind everybody who we have here. We actually have the #1 player from China and the #1 player from France. It was a massive lead for Wei Yi just an hour ago. He was up 5.5, 1.5 in this match, and even as the underdog in the Speed Chess Championship format, he was showing that he was here to play. We know he's #3 in China. As we said, he is the #1 junior in the world, the highest rated player on the planet under the age of 21. but he's going up against MVL today. Now, Maxime, of course, is known. He's the number 1 player in France. He's actually currently the highest-rated rapid player in the world. And look at that damn good photo right there. That looks sexy, right? Look at MVL's picture there, Vidit. He looks scary. Like, he looks like a villain from a Marvel movie, right? Like
his webcam, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about the picture. That's a great photo there. But anyway, Maxime is an absolute monster.
His photo.
The Beast of Lyon, known as Lyon Beast on Chess.com. If you're just joining us, whether you are here via the Twitch front page or Chess.com's homepage, make sure you come to twitch.tv/chess, hit that follow button. We could be in for a thrilling one because, as we said, we've now seen 5 wins in a row for Maxime after falling behind big time, and it could be the biggest comeback we've ever had in a main SCC format.
Okay, so before the 3-1, goes ahead, I want to ask for your prediction again.
Okay. Because are you just enjoying the fact that I'm wrong a lot? Is that it?
I'm trying to make you work a little bit.
Make me work a little bit. So I predicted it would be 4-6 after the 5-minute for Wei Yi. It ended up being 5.5, 4.5. So I wasn't so far off, but
yeah,
I don't know. At this point, I need to see Wei Yi prove that he's going to stop the bleeding. I'm going to guess that regardless of the score, Maxime takes a 2-game lead into Bullet. That's what I'm feeling right now.
2-game lead.
Yeah.
Reasonable. I would like to see 50-50, like level scores. That would be more fun to watch. So I'm rooting for that.
I'm rooting for it too, and it's been an exciting one, so I would not be upset if we had a close match heading into Bullet. Okay, B7 is hanging, and that's key because it protects
94.
the knight.
Then 94. Or probably Rook C8. Rook C8 doesn't work, sorry. So
but
94.
E7 falls in the end of those lines, right?
Yeah, 97, King H8. Go for the counterplay.
Okay, knight B. Okay, he goes for it. Knight D4, 97, King H8. I think we're probably going to get the line you're talking about.
No, he might take on D5 first. That's also an option. He does it.
Take D5 first. I guess that stops E7. Now we get the line that we have on the board where E7 is still falling, although now not with check.
There is Bishop D3 and 92. But I think white will win the pawn on E7. So 92, King H2, Knight F4, takes Bishop A6. That's what I'm expecting.
So something like Bishop D3, Rook D1, 92, King H2, Bishop A6, Rook E7, like this?
Yeah, Knight F4, G4, and Bishop F5 or somewhere. No, you have to take on F4 first.
Okay, yeah. You take F4 first.
Bishop F5 maybe.
Something like this. But white has the passed D pawn, right? Dirty dancing on the D file, right? We got D8.
Yeah, white is better.
Yeah, for sure.
So Bishop F6 now, Rook C7.
You know what I want? I want to sack the exchange, even if it doesn't work. Play D6. I'm kidding. Don't do that.
It might just work.
Barely? That sounded like you were like the professor from a movie. It might just work. I love that.
He does go for it.
He goes for it. Look at me with the pawn sack that I didn't even calculate, but I'm still taking credit for. Okay, now you can play Rook C7. Now you maybe want to save that guy. Yeah, he goes for it.
No, it's very good now. Very good for white. Probably winning.
D7 is coming. Again, the slide continues. I don't know what the longest ever winning streak we've ever had, especially for someone who was at one point trailing, but we may be about to get 7 wins in a row. We now have it. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave is out of control.
From what I've seen so far, in 3-1, Maxime is playing quite well.
Yeah.
I mean, in 5+1, he was all over the board.
Right.
But now he's playing quite well. I mean, it clearly shows in the games, not just on the scorecard.
Yep. Maxime has performed very well historically in the 3-1 portion. I don't know if we have those stats at some point, but I know we track them. He's performed very well in this format, and he's often said it is his favorite time control of the 3 disciplines. So if you're just getting here, don't go anywhere because we still have a lot of chess ahead. 38 minutes of blitz here before 30 minutes of bullet to ultimately decide who moves on into the second round. Okay, now we've got this Carol Khan, so Maxime going away from the Night Orb for the first time today. Your thoughts on that? Why change it up after Wei Yi played the poison pawn?
He's feeling quite confident, I assume, to win.
Yeah, Onoel in the Twitch chat is correct.
Good
Nakamura
to
won a lot of
mix it
games
up,
in a
no?
row.
I like to mix it up sometimes.
Yeah. My partner here has learned ventriloquism. That you were frozen there for a second, but you're back. You were talking and your mouth wasn't moving. But we've got you.
Yeah, I think there was some lag.
Yeah, but we seem to be good. So talk a little bit about the structure here. I think a lot of members would maybe be confused about why these double pawns are actually an asset for black because they open the A file. But what's going to happen here?
Bishop g6, at least the next move, I think. I think black is doing quite well tactically. It's easy to play.
Okay.
With white, I don't see a clear plan what to do. Like 92 g4 doesn't look that great. And with black, you just play 96, bishop e7, put the rooks on a5. It's very easy to play with black.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you just take on e2 and go knight d6. He goes bishop g6. Interesting. I would have preferred to take.
Yeah, so why doesn't he trade? Why does he want the bishop? Is it maybe to come to c2? He's trying to spy a4? Oh.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And there you go. He does it. Ultimately settles on the trade, but again, Maxime playing very quickly, very confidently. So these double pawns, as I was saying, everyone, are an asset, not because the pawns themselves are super pretty, but because they open the A file, which makes white's life super hard for the rest of the game. As these trades happen in the center, and they will.
Black... 95 is a good move.
But black will play f6, right?
Bishop e5. I thought he'll go for d and then, eventually bishop e3 or something.
He trades it probably because he wants knight c7. Yeah, he does it. And one of the things I was trying to get to highlight is if the knight moves from b5, then b5 itself can come from black, which takes advantage of the pin. So things like this are very common in the structure.
Right. Black has the initiative, at least in practical terms. I was thinking now to take on b5 and go rook c8. I think, yeah, and then rook c8. f6.
Yeah, now f6, and black looks like he's getting the better endgame again. Both sides have double b pawns, but feels like the b5 pawn is an easier one to target.
Mm-hmm.
Now here comes rook a5. Why did he trade on the a file?
Okay. I don't see what to do with white. Maybe take some rook e1. It's a little bit unpleasant, no, to play this position.
Okay, rook a4 also good, controlling the fourth rank and preparing to swing. It feels like Wei Yi has just totally lost his mojo, man. He needs to take his glasses off again and play blindfolded like he was before.
MVL is dominating.
Yeah, he's dominating now. It just the whole match has turned around. It feels. It
always happens in Blitz, when you have these streaks, the losing and the winning ones.
Right.
It always happens. I've seen it. Now, where Wei needs to stop the bleeding. That's why I said make a draw, somehow.
Yeah, just stop a draw. Make a draw, stop the bleeding, gather yourself,
yeah,
right?
Not to stop the draw, for sure.
Yeah, don't stop the draw. Don't stop believing either. Big Journey fan you are, right? I know that. All right, well, Wei Yi's trying to hold this endgame, would like a draw at this point, but I don't know that he's going to get it. If you look at the time and the fact that black is holding the cards, you look at these positions, everyone, black can just play tickle and poke, and look at that.
What?
Wei Yi just resigns.
He resigned? Okay,
I'm going to, we'll talk to him about this afterward, but he resigned early, Vidit, right before you joined me. In a game right before you joined me, he resigned in a Nightorf where, yes, he was worse, but it was a lot like this, right? But I think he has a match strategy of just not letting himself lose a ton of time to come back, right? If he feels like he's going to lose, he's just going to resign.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That he wants to save some time.
And again,
I feel so bad, actually. from 5.5 to 1.5, I can imagine it must be really painful.
He's totally reeling. And it doesn't change that fact that he's reeling. But again, if this is your first ever SCC, the big thing, everyone, is the time ticking down. You see that 30 minutes. It's different than a normal chess match where there's always motivation to buckle down and play solid defense, right? In this case, you might defend for 3 or 4 minutes, and even if you draw, it in a match strategy, right, Vidit, you're losing time on the total game clock. You're losing opportunities to make a comeback. So, again, that's what makes this format so interesting. Is I know some of the players put a little more thought into how to race against the clock, and I think Wei Yi is resigning because of that. He wants opportunities to come back.
Makes sense, but he has to do something. I mean, this trick should be stopped. At least play solidly one game. Take on d4, go queen c7. I don't know. Just play solid one game.
Yeah, you just got to draw one time. You're getting in that 10 game in a row realm. For those of you that follow the
Has
Twitch,
it ever happened?
what?
10 game in a row? Has it ever happened?
I think the only match ever was Hikaru Nakamura's match against Ho Yifan, where he won 10 in a row at one point. But I think that's the only time it's ever happened in an SEC.
Current position is fine. Now maybe rook c8, rook fc8.
This looks okay for Black. This is the best position he's had in some time.
Definitely. I would go rook fc8 and consolidate. Probably rook c8, rook c4, queen e8 is something we might see. Again, this time management, I mean, you can't think too much.
I agree. He's just double-checking, overthinking, and then when it really matters, he doesn't have the time.
In the same position, I would have preferred the other rook on c8 because now we have some a7, some tactics on the a7 pawn.
Yeah.
Knight b5 was a good move.
Yeah, knight b5 was a good move. He's forking a7 and d6 because that's a square that would win the bishop pair back. And so, okay, queen b8 is the only move that guards both of them. That makes sense.
Yeah, good move.
And I wonder...
How do you put pressure right now?
Okay, you'd love to play bishop e5. Is White in a position to play a move as aggressive as f4 or even queen f4, actually? I like queen f4.
Looks ugly. f4 looks really ugly. Queen f4, then you just take and probably play knight d5.
Okay.
I want to play queen f4, but it just doesn't work, in my opinion.
Okay, rook c1, but that doesn't stop rook c8, which is what I was wondering about how you would deal with this.
Yeah, what's rook c1?
Yeah, what's he doing here? What's he see? He's clearly... Okay, he's obviously fine with the exchange. Now he goes queen f4. Interesting. If rook c1, he'll take b8 with check. That's actually kind of irritating. And if you take f4, he'll probably take c8 with check before recapturing.
Bishop c8, ef4, and then a6. Knight c7. Some pressure, but it should be all right, no?
But in the end, a6 is still a target. We're going to get that exact line, so we'll keep the analysis board up. Yep.
Maybe a5 was better than a6.
Because you just allow the tempo.
Yeah.
Now if you play a5, I think bishop d4 was coming, so he plays b5.
a4, because bishop d6 is met with bishop e5, so a4.
You're so accurate. You must be a really good chess player. Look at that, bishop e5. And again, despite the queens being traded, I think a lot of players look at these games and feel like, it looks equal. But no, the targets and the initiative are sometimes even harder to deal with when you don't have more pieces on the board. You lack counterplay to take advantage of something weak in your opponent's position. So White is holding all the cards here. This could be the 8th.
I would play bishop d6 and take on c7. And play bishop d6. That would be my defense.
He may go for that anyway now. I think bishop e5, he might trade on c7 anyway. But still, White is holding the cards, right? The bishop pair is going to continue to press.
Sure.
Now he'll trade.
Maybe a5 he wants. That's more Wei Yi style.
Wow. He's trying not to part with the bishop pair. He wants to trade a6 for a4.
But what about a5?
I love a5. Knight d5.
It takes on bishop c3, bishop c8.
It's going to be bishop c3, d4, bishop d2. Okay, but now the king can come.
Also the time.
Yeah, the time again, favoring Maxime.
Such a big difference in time. And he's still thinking. I don't like his time management.
Yeah. He's also only playing with one eye, so you got to give him credit.
He's playing with one eye.
Kidding. It was a joke for how he looks on camera. So it's
Oh,
hard.
sorry, I can't see. I mean, I can't see their video.
Okay, no, it's okay. I'm just making a joke. But no, I mean, obviously he's in a tough spot, and so spotting Maxime and I is also ill-advised. But anyway, Maxime is just putting on a clinic here of time management combined with this working it with no diggity on both sides of the board. This is just rough. Okay, now you can move the bishop from d3 and try to put the king there so you can get bishop d4. Or this way, is because if you trade the dark square bishop, that gives white the entry with the king, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
But it's not so easy to do that. He wants to put bishop on b4.
Yeah, that's going to force the trade.
Yeah, if you avoid it, then there is bishop f8. That's smart. So king b3 makes sense.
f5 played. I think we're going to get this idea of king b3 and bishop b4 soon. Here it comes. Obviously, Wei Yi will try to play the bishop to e3 when that happens. Yep, keep it on the board.
Bishop d6, bishop d2, bishop c7.
But then the king will run back. Yeah, that's actually getting harder. Maxime has pushed a little too far. Maybe he'll settle?
Yeah, he'll settle for draw. That's what I feel.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, you were right. We have peace in the land, and I'm expecting bishop d2 by Wei Yi. Not sure why he's thinking. Okay, I guess he considered. You know what he was considering? There was maybe bishop d6, but made the right call.
Bishop d6 is very interesting, actually. Was it good?
Because if trade king b4 guards king c5, and then if d4, but then black has d4 and maybe king d5.
No, but then eventually a6 is always hanging. So
yeah, but g4 hangs in those lines with bishop f3, right?
Yeah, but a6.
Okay, let's. So we think the line that Wei Yi was considering was bishop d6, and if takes, king b4 is key, and now d4 opens up the bishop and maybe a king entry. King c4, bishop f3, because the bishop was blocked, was what I was saying. Takes, g4 takes here. We get our own pawn, but in the end, I guess white's. But I don't know. I mean, look at this. Like, if you go for this line, Vidit, with like bishop g4, a6, I get king c7. Anyway, no, I guess king c5 and the bishop moves in a7. Okay, I was just kidding. No, but that was an instructive line, right? And that might have been something he was looking at the last second and made the decision to take the draw instead.
What's happening?
What is going on here? There's a queen on e8 and... Okay, back to the Batcave. Let's see what happened in the opening. To the Batcave.
This trade must be good for white. Good for black, sorry.
Yeah, we've got another poison pawn. Maxime not afraid of it. Again, I just don't like the trend for Wei Yi to commit to this line, just given that he was getting better advantages in the more positional knight orders. Maybe he felt like Maxime had figured it out. But as crazy as this all looks, this is actually all theory. You know, white sacrifices the queen just to win it right back. In the end, though, black is playing with the bishop pair and usually just totally settled here. So not a huge opening win.
Maybe you can take the exchange and then bishop d3. What's happening?
Okay, white.
I would have preferred to play bishop d3 first.
Instead of
knight b6.
On move 20. But just wait.
Move 22.
Oh, move 22. Bishop d3 get developed. Okay.
So what's happening now? Knight e4?
I don't know. Black is getting compensation for the exchange, that's for sure. Positions open up again. This is right in MVL's wheelhouse.
So easy to play with black. So easy to play with black. You know what's the best way to play? Just go knight c8 and give an exchange, maybe.
And go for the draw.
Take back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because here there's some counterplay.
Well, I guess we didn't take a moment to appreciate that Wei Yi just got on the board for the first time in an hour and a half. If you're just joining us, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave's comeback got to 7 straight victories. At one point in this match, that's right, Wei Yi was up 5.5 to 1.5. So OMGs are snaps, right? And Maxime had won 7 games in a row before that last draw. So I think from a practical point of view, at least Wei Yi's got to be happy about that, right? He didn't lose again, Vidit?
Yeah, definitely. But 3 points lead, I'm kind of worried
Yep.
for FAE. I don't think it's easy to recover that. I predict MVL going to take this match.
Yeah, and these bishops. This is a great example of the 2 bishops, how well they work with the rook. The rooks and the knight, even though white is up the exchange, Dr. Evil Fingers, this is clearly material that favors black. In fact, white almost has mating nets to worry about, right? H5 and H4 could be coming.
So maybe this can be held, but I was talking about the overall match that I think MVL will win it now.
Yeah.
Looking at the score and the trend.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's obviously weathered the storm.
H5, is it possible to play H5? Then Rook D6.
He's going to settle on the draw again, apparently.
Why not? I didn't
Okay.
say anything better.
Time continues to tick away. We have 20 minutes left here in the 3-minute portion, so...
MVL is playing quite well in 3-1. Very consistent, no big mistakes. Very solid.
Yeah, he's found himself.
They both are playing Knight off.
Yep, both are playing Najdorf. It's a Sicilian battle today, apparently a theoretical Sicilian lesson that we all signed up for.
Some big theory.
These positional Najdorfs. Sorry, what?
Yeah, now I think they go castles A5, bishop E6, and some kind of a slow positional game.
Okay. Yeah. We'll see if MVL can give us a lesson on how to play the Najdorf as white. Normally he's playing these positions as black, but the bishop comes to F3. White would love knight F1, knight E3, and then sink a pony permanently here on the D5 square. So giving us something to look forward to here in terms of what we'll learn about how he plays the Najdorf. But speaking of looking forward to things, Vidit, let's remind everybody of our schedule, because tomorrow we have Nepomniachtchi versus Dan Yelyin. That is the 4 seed versus the 13 seed in our Speed Chess Championship epic event this year. That starts at 7 a.m. Pacific time, so tune in for that. Our next match after that is on the 6th, Duda versus your boy, Anish Giri. Although I think you and I would both agree that Duda is probably a favorite in that match over Anish.
No, I'll be loyal, and I would say.
Okay, fine. I'll say Duda just so I can get whatever trolling comes from Anish later. And then we take a break during the World Cup and before Russian on Russian action, probably the R-rated kind in Artemiev versus Grishuk. I can't promise what happens on that show, but I think you should tune in on the 29th. And then we have Aronian versus Firouzja. Sorry, what?
That's going to be the most epic match.
It seriously is, right? I mean, Artemiev is like, I always think of him as like a young Grishuk. The guy is so talented. In Blitz, I don't know what he's capable of. A lot of people look at him as a dark horse on the right side of the bracket to maybe upset Sasha in round 1.
Like Duda did last year.
Yeah. Apparently Siri thought that Sasha means Siri. Hey, Siri. Hey, Siri. Will Jan Christoph Duda beat Anish Giri on Friday?
No.
Who will win the match of Duda versus Giri on Friday?
Minnesota is not playing on Friday. The next game against Fresno State is on Saturday at 7:30 p.m. I'm hearing that Minnesota are favored to defeat Fresno State by 3 points.
What's going on?
You can be wrong all night as long as it's in that accent.
What's going on?
I'm not sure I understand.
Okay. I'll turn it off now.
What did I sign up for?
I don't know, man. I just thought that.
You're talking to Siri.
Yeah. All right, what's happening here? We have our positional goal. The knight reaches d5.
Looks quite even. Bishop D5.
Yeah, it looks good for white. And this is kind of the structure that Wei Yi has been trying to play against MVL all match, or at least earlier in the 5-minute portion. This is the more positional approach for the Najdorf. You have this 4-on-3 over here on the king side, and in compensation, black gets the potential for a pawn storm over here. F4, E4, G4, it's all on the agenda. But white's positionally better.
It's quite even. G6, king G7. Practically, I would take black if I had to choose. Oh, E4. I don't like E4. Sorry, what? Can you hear me?
All right, what do you think now?
I don't like the move E4.
You don't like the move E4, why not?
Yeah, I mean, the knight comes on D4. That's why I thought black should go G6, king G7. And because this knight on D4 is kind of annoying. Knight D4. Yeah, we somehow let it go. He had a good position.
He's got E6 coming.
Yeah. 96. White is clearly better. No counterplay at all.
And look at the time again.
Nothing is going right for VE.
No, it's a huge problem. He might even.
Will he resign now?
He gave a look over his shoulder like I thought he was about to resign, just kind of frustrated, making sure nobody's watching his debacle in that hotel room. And indeed, he throws in the towel. Wow, I mean, this has just become an MVL clinic here. The 3-1 portion is where he does well historically.
It feels really helpless in such situations when you know you had such a good lead and then you lose game after game. It's very tough psychologically for VE.
Yeah, again, he had a huge lead. Everything's fallen apart. I think one of the bad signs is even though the lead fell apart, he was getting good positions on the white side of those Najdorfs. Do you agree? At least the H3 and G3 lines he was playing.
Yeah, he was. And actually, like the type of position he's playing now, I thought he would go for it back then to avoid the risk, and just hold on to the lead.
Got it.
If he had gone with a big lead in 5-1, it would have been much easier to play the rest of the match. But this last 3 games really took its toll. Because now you'll see that he has slight initiative, nothing much, but it's very healthy position. Maybe something of this sort he should have aimed back then, in hindsight.
Yeah, I just, the fact that he's mixing it up now and not finding answers is just a bad sign. Sometimes when these guys prepare the openings for the match, it goes so well they never have to switch. But if they start switching and not finding any improvements, not a good sign of the future.
Can you play B7 right now?
Ooh, why not? Apparently heading into this match, Wei Yi said he thought his chances were less than 1% to win. So maybe it's a confidence issue in some ways.
Glass half empty.
Yeah.
It's such a good position now, though, for white. Very comfortable. Just rook C1. Why not? Rook C1 and then bishop F4 is coming.
Yeah, you got that pawn. Gotta like that.
Yeah, it's just simply.
Free pawn is a good start. Agreed.
I'm surprised that my accent isn't being a problem for you. Usually when I speak, half of the people don't understand.
I speak many
Good that you're
accents.
getting...
I don't speak many languages, but I speak many accents. So it's one of my specialties. So no trouble hearing you at all, buddy.
How can you speak many accents?
How do I speak many accents? It's a skill. I'll teach you later. So, all right, rook c1. He defends his pawn. What are the options?
Yeah, he should have played this with like 10 seconds, not like after thinking for
Right.
1 minute.
Right.
That's the problem. That's the only thing I don't like.
Yeah, the time
Well-
management has been poor.
So now bishop f4, play quickly. Yeah, I mean, he's taking this 10 seconds for such a move. It's, I think, the confidence. Because when you lose so many games,
Yep.
you will like double check, recheck everything, even the simple position.
Right.
This would not have happened if he had a lead.
And maybe it doesn't happen even in a traditional tournament where you have a rest day, you have time to kind of gather yourself. When you have so many games back to back to back here, the emotional hangover is real, and it's easy for us to say things about how to improve, but while they're playing, it's just hard to make those adjustments, right?
For sure. It's very easy for me to comment on it, but I'm just saying what I feel objectively should be done.
Right.
BSI.
Well, he is better here. I mean, maybe we'll get a victory here for Wei Yi for the first time. And
He needs it
yeah,
desperately.
he needs this big time. If you're just joining us, Wei Yi has not won in almost an hour and 45 minutes. It's been a while.
Wow. Okay, so queen d4, right?
Uh-huh. Play it quickly. Right, there you go.
Takes on d4, takes on c1, and rook e2 is probably what MVL
Yeah,
wants.
b7 falls in the end of the line.
But then there is a2, which is hanging.
Yeah, it's going to come down to the d pawn. The d pawn
But
and the
it's
dark
better,
squares.
no doubt. But can he win is the question.
Mm-hmm. d5 threatens bishop c6, though. That's...
So rook a1, assume. Rook e1 also good.
Okay, now there's maybe
e6.
rook e7 and bishop h6. That was... f6 was kind of surprising. What about rook e7 now?
Rook e7 was good.
Yeah, he doesn't go for it. I wonder if the dark squares were a problem.
Can you play bishop c6 or it's a bit risky? Maybe g5. Go g5.
G5's coming for Maxime for sure. Agreed.
But then, yeah, g5 is needed.
Yeah, I mean, okay,
Now,
these pawns are weaknesses, but all black really wants is to get the king in the game.
just put bishop on d7 or something.
Yeah, blockade.
Eventually.
Okay, but there's
Now
still the
rook
option of
a1.
trading and playing rook e7.
No, don't trade. Go bishop d4 or rook e1.
Okay.
Rook a1, sorry.
Bishop d4. Now
Takes
you can
on
put the
e7.
rook on a1.
Or play bishop a7, but then there is rook d2. He has to move faster. I mean,
Yeah, he's
if
just
he goes low on time, he doesn't have a chance to win. He has to move faster.
double
bishop
checking way
c6
too many
is-
lines.
Yeah. Rook d2 or bishop c6. One of these moves, I expect. Rook d2, yeah. Oh no, when you lose
Yeah.
d6, you don't have a chance to win. He'll
Bad
get
sign.
h7, but practically, I think MVL will survive.
Okay, there's this bishop g6, but it does nothing. The king has safety, and you can't guard d6 now. Unless you have rook a1. And you
Rook
can,
a1.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he finds rook
Bishop
a1, but what's the follow-up? Rook b1? Okay. Tickle me Elmo.
Bishop d3 is very good move.
Yeah, that's a great move. Now the d pawn will fall. And
If
even
he
the rook
needed
ending is a
just go
draw.
back.
Right. Trade king f7, the king comes to e6. Nicha.
Yeah.
Draw?
Yeah, he should just offer a draw and save time.
Right.
I don't think he should try also.
Yeah, I think he probably will. He's been good about match strategy all day.
He doesn't have even time to offer a draw.
Yeah, he's afraid to go click the draw button. But he has not offered a draw. We see the draw emotes coming out in the Chess.com chat there. I like
Hikaru
that.
would probably flag him in this position.
Yeah, I think just play Tickle here. Offer a draw the Singfield Cup way by repeating moves. Yeah. Agent JL was here earlier when MVL was way down, and now you come back and different story. We have an epic comeback on the docket here today. Apparently, we didn't know, but MVL was down 5.5, 1.5. Now leads it 11-7. Just a complete turnaround. 4 games down, now 4 games up. Shout out to Danya Naroditsky hanging out in the Twitch chat. Go to twitch.tv / whatever his channel is, Dr. Naroditsky. Danya, I don't think anybody has changed their channel name more than you, like in the history of Twitch, not just like chess. So shout out to you, buddy. But anyway, give him a follow. There you go, GM Naroditsky. Finally deciding on a brand. Good for you, buddy. I think Danya's going to be doing some commentary for us pretty soon here, trying to work him in. So,
I've watched him stream. He's quite entertaining.
He's quite entertaining, yeah. Danya Naroditsky, go to his channel, give him a follow. If you're into strong grandmasters who play chess, good. Kind of like going to the school for kids who don't read good. That's where I went. So, come on, that's a Zoolander reference, bro. Have you seen Zoolander?
No.
We're gonna have to fly you out and have some pop culture videos. I'm gonna show you all the movies I need you to see for future working together.
I've had this conversation with my colleagues, and they come to the conclusion that I didn't have a childhood. That's the reason I don't know any of this reference.
So is that true? Did you not have a childhood? Are you like Benjamin Button?
I can tell you I've not seen like Harry Potter as well. With the things which everyone has seen.
Yeah.
You can make your assumptions.
Okay, well.
I've not seen Benjamin Button.
If you could ever get out of that beehive, maybe you could see some movies. So, the Bee Movie, which stars Jerry Seinfeld, and why are the flowers disappearing in the meadow? I'm a bee.
I'm not.
You don't know Jerry Seinfeld?
I know Seinfeld, of course. I've seen his show.
Okay.
Big fan.
Okay. Whoa, that's a
I just
huge
saved
win.
myself.
You just won me back into your heart with that, bro. Seinfeld, great show.
Great comic too.
All right. That's a great outpost square on D3, but will you keep it? Probably not. I assume 91 is coming soon.
91 or B3?
Or B3, yeah. Undermine the protection. I like that. Right?
Already, I like how Wei is playing.
Yeah, if you put a knight on D3, always use protection. But if that disappears, now you got to rid yourself with the outpost square. And actually, white is going to be just fine. You've got the big center, and you're happy to use it.
Isn't black slightly better?
You really think so?
Yeah,
I mean, you're the grandmaster, so I guess I got to trust you, but I like white.
I mean, it's probably level, but, you know, I've this...
But so, okay, why do you think black is... why do you think black is better? So you've got the 2-on-1 long term. What?
Outside pass pawn. The outside pass pawn, sorry.
Right, so you've got the 2-on-1. That's what I was assuming. I was highlighting that. But I look at the centrally placed knight and the fact that this bishop can't really join the fray because of d4, and it's hard for me to think that white is not in control. Even though
I mean, objectively, white is completely fine. It's just that I would prefer to play black. That's what I mean.
Got it.
So I should probably rephrase myself. Now 95 is kind of slightly annoying, isn't it? Maybe e4, e5. What do you think of that?
I love it. You're reading my mind. I highlighted it right as he did it. E4, e5. E4 also just sitting on the square holds d5 and denies you your plan of knight d5, so that's nice. Rook c2 to defend the rook. That unpins the knight. So now you can move it without the rook falling on c1. I like it.
Just rook c7 probably.
We got to give credit where credit's due. The time advantage is not as big for MVL as it was previously. Wei Yi has sped up a little bit. Unfortunately, he's about to...
He misplayed knight b7.
I was going to say, unfortunately, it's coming with a blunder. Knight b7 and the game's over.
So easily.
I don't know why I was right, but I just knew white was better. And just to highlight why that knight couldn't be taken, everyone, let me just show you. The knight was poisoned due to the fact that the queen had to guard the rook, and moving the queen would have allowed queen takes d8 check. So knight takes b7 was a blunder that Wei Yi missed, and the game goes from debatably better between me and Vidit in terms of who we like to white just winning on the spot. And there you have it. We have another game in the books, a 5-game lead now for Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. He's pretty good at this chess thing.
Over. I think it's already over for Wei. It's very hard to come back. That's what I feel. Even tough to watch Wei now. I mean,
It's tough to
I
watch
don't
because
feel bad for
he's
them.
on full tilt. But remember, there's still something on the line in every game. Let's remind everybody of the daily question. I want to get your thoughts on this, Vidit. So obviously in the Speed Chess Championship format, the prize money is both guaranteed and then split by win percentage. So if this is your first time watching it, every game still matters, even if you're going to lose the match, and it can matter to the tune of $20 to $30, to sometimes as high as a couple $100, depending on all the matches we've done. But one thing we've talked about is whether draws should even count toward the total score. If we could consider some way that draws maybe add to the pot so that the next decisive game is worth even more, not just in terms of the match score, but also the cash money, homie. I know you're a big fan of making it rain in the club. Are you a big fan of the cash money idea of rolling draws up?
Sorry, just to understand correctly, what do you mean by rolling?
So let's say a
draws?
draw doesn't count toward the total score, but it doubles the prize money for like the next decisive game in an SEC format. Would you like this idea?
Can you give me an example?
So
I am not getting the picture. That's why.
So let's say they draw this game. Instead of the score changing from 11.5 to 7.5, the score stays 11-7.
Okay.
But the next game is now worth double the prize money if it was split by win percentage. If they draw again, then the next game is worth triple the prize money, and you just keep adding up. The score doesn't change. Draws don't count until you get decisive games.
Oh
No?
no, I mean I
Too
I don't.
complicated.
Yeah, it's too complicated for me at first. Maybe once I see it, it'll be easier.
I don't know that
Sorry.
draws are a problem in our format, honestly. I think that draws are sometimes very excited and well played, very exciting and well played, and it's not like we have a problem with classical preparation, making sure that nobody blunders. But it's just something we've considered, whether we could find a way to make the scoring even more decisive. But you're not into this
See, I'm Anisha's friend, so I usually don't have any problem with draws.
with drawing, right?
Yes.
Is that a requirement to remain his friend? Because
He gets upset when I don't score 50% in a tournament.
yeah, that makes sense, actually. Well, we'll get the draw
Whenever
masters.
he thinks something went wrong.
Right.
So I'm used to draws.
Okay, well, I mean, okay, jokes aside, Anish Giri is number 4 in the world for a reason. Obviously a very solid and strong chess player. But anyway, you can let us know your thoughts on our daily question. Use the hashtag SpeedChess. We showed you the image earlier, and if you want, you can hover your mouse over the Twitch player. You will see a little button that's a vote extension. Click it, cast your vote, and let us know your thoughts. Only 50 seconds remain here, Vidit. This will officially, I'm going to call it, going to be our last 3-1 game. I don't think we're going to see a blunder in the next 40 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So,
MVL played quite well. I think Vachier had played this game against Nepo in FIDE Grand Prix,
okay. Yeah.
and Nepo was suffering. But right now, MVL has played it quite well, I would say. Wait, King F6, Rook E1. Yeah, okay, so King F6 is good. It's a little bit tricky, no?
Yeah, it is.
Rook E7 right now.
Yeah, I like that move. He should play it fast. Rook E7. You want to bring the other rook in potentially, but how do you get at the king on H6? That's the problem.
Not easy.
Not easy at all, right?
Maybe Rook F7 now is a possibility. Or you can even go Rook B2. Yeah, Rook F7.
Rook H7. I like this. Yeah. This is
And then
frustrating.
you go Rook B2. Go for the active counterplay.
Okay, now I think your Rook B2 is on
Also,
the
there is
docket.
knight E4, knight F6 ideas, like knight E4, bishop D5, knight F6.
Aha.
Very.
You got fork on the brain there. I love it.
He goes for the activity.
Okay, he plays Rook B2. It seems the straightforward idea. Both A2 and C2 will fall. But just a clinic right now. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave has not lost a game.
Rook H8.
What?
Now Rook H8. What's happening?
Yeah, Rook H8 and white is stuck. Or Rook G7. Because if you move the bishop, you're not even threatening Rook H8. The rook just goes right back. This is just painful for Wei Yi. And like I was saying, and Maxime, we talk about Wei Yi not winning, Vidit. Maxime hasn't lost a game in about 2 hours. So,
Yeah, it's as I told you. I think MVL is going to clinch it. I'm stating the obvious, but what I see.
Well, okay. Right now, Wei Yi thinking, not quite sure how to deal with the rook on the second rank that's about to get loose.
So rook c2, bishop d5.
Knight e2 check. Oh, he goes knight e4. He wants g3 first, and then the knight can come to f5 and target h4. That's his idea.
MVL is being ambitious. He just doesn't want a simple draw. I must say, MVL played this 3-1 section very well.
Yeah, high quality stuff.
Yeah, no major mistakes. Always up on time.
The
Very
knight will get
impressive.
h4, and it's too late for Wei Yi. He would love to already have the bishop on g8 and threaten checkmate, but not going to happen. And, okay, black is going to bring the knight to d4, I think, and then take on either c2 or b3. Either way, he'll end up with 2 passed pawns versus whatever one remains, and black will be easily winning. And we will be headed into the 1-minute portion here because this is a portion that Wei Yi would like to forget, right?
Indeed.
Okay, I guess I spoke too soon. Wei Yi found a way to swindle the draw. He did actually take with the c pawn.
King g3 was the good move.
Yeah.
Because knight c2 was met with bishop f7. Is 3+1 over?
Yeah, king of 2 was a good move. He gets the king out so that he can take with the c pawn. Note that if the king was on the second rank, the pawn is pinned. But okay, still, even with holding this game, he heads into the fastest set, down 5 games. That's a tough order, tall task for anyone to overcome against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. But we'll see if the Chinese is up for it here. Grandmaster Wei Yi, he's going to do what he can in the bullet portion. Do what he did against Alireza Firouzja, which will surprise some people. Vidit, you're sticking with us for the bullet, right?
What had happened in that match?
Well, Wei Yi beat Alireza Firouzja.
In the bullet section?
I think in the bullet portion, Firouzja won, I think, but it wasn't a landslide, right? Obviously. So, we're going to be right back here in just a moment with more Speed Chess Championship action. Don't go anywhere. Bullet coming right up. And we are back here with Chess.com's second match of the 2019 Speed Chess Championship. With me here, the amazing Vidit Gujrathi filling in here today at the last moment and bringing the A game, A-plus commentary. Well, we already set the tone, right? We know that this is Wei Yi's opportunity here to come back, but it's been all day, all MVL ever since he started this comeback. If you're just joining us, Maxime was down 5.5, 1.5 in this match. He was down 4 games. He's now up by 5, so it has been quite the turnaround. But will Bullet bring better fortune? Let's find out. Let's do it. The games are beginning, and we have the fastest time control of the day underway. I know you're not a huge Bullet guy yourself. You wish you were, though, right?
No, I play quite decently, but I feel I enjoy 3+1 or 5+1 more.
Right.
And usually in India, we all play like 10 seconds +1, and I love that.
Yeah? Why is that?
Yeah. It's so much fun. I mean, you have never played it? You should try.
So it's 10 seconds to start +1. So it's like Hyper Bullet with an increment.
Yeah, and it's not online. It's over the board.
Ah, okay. Very cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
All right, well, we've got a Caro-Kann 2-9. It's the first time that Wei Yi has ventured away from a Sicilian, I think. It's been a lot of Sicilians today. I
had recommended this line for Black in my DVD of Caro-Kann.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And the conclusion?
That time I thought it was okay, but later on I found out that white is better.
Okay.
So A4 or something like that, yeah.
Well, we saw this this line played at the Sinquefield Cup by Maxime, right? This was his game versus Hikaru Nakamura.
Sorry to interrupt, but I think Black just blundered.
Black just blundered his queen.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what a way for the landslide to continue. I'm going to back up real quick on the analysis board just to show how that one ended. That was crazy. So in this position here, the move castles is just a blunder after queen f2. Black needs to deal with the coming threat of a4 and bishop takes d4. Black plays the instinctive castles. I think when you see the battery on f7, you get worried. You want to get the king out of the middle. But then a4 and bishop takes d4, and the queen is trapped before you know it. Crazy stuff here, yeah.
Just when I plug in my DVD, Black loses in 2 moves.
Yeah, hey, that'll teach you from plugging your own stuff, right? You know. Well, but as I was saying, that line was actually played at the Sinquefield Cup between Maxime Vachier-Lagrave and Hikaru Nakamura. Not obviously Hikaru didn't blunder his queen, but that same line was also played by Black there. So I'm sure your DVD is solid. People should check it out.
Yeah, now MVL has to defend my DVD.
Yeah, come on MVL, play the Caro-Kann, courtesy of Vidit Gujrathi.
They both were playing Naidov at some point, and now they both are playing Caro-Kann.
Yeah, that's funny.
Interesting. They're just mirroring each other.
Yep. Okay, well, White is, I don't know. I think a little bit better here. I know we're trying to defend the Caro-Kann here.
Why White is better?
I don't know, because I like the bishop on e5, and I'm hitting g7. I don't know.
I like the material. I mean, objectively, White should be okay, but I think if you consolidate, it's a healthy pawn.
Okay.
Like bishop f6. At some h4 is even falling.
Actually, that's a serious problem.
Queen d8 was a very nice move.
Yeah, very sneaky maneuver. Now he's going to win d4 and h4. Something tells me that we're about to witness an MVL runaway here, because at this point he's up 6 games, and the Bullet portion, something he's typically known for being one of the world's elite. So
is MVL really good in Bullet?
He doesn't play online as often as guys like Hikaru Nakamura or Ali Reza Firouzja, but I would say that for a guy of his caliber, right, in the 2800 realm, he's definitely one of the best Bullet players for sure.
Oh, okay. He did misplay though.
Yeah, he did. He messed it up, and all of a sudden here comes 2 passers on the queen side. Bishop e4 is met by bishop h3, I think, or bishop c6.
But then rook g2 and then takes on c6.
Okay, yeah, bishop h3 is better. You threaten f7. Now probably a4 first, yeah, so that the pawn can remain protected.
But it should be good with the bishop on h3 locked out.
Yeah.
And f5 next.
f5 will keep the bishop out, and then you can play for f3. Or run the king up. Who wants checkmate, right? Who wants dinner? King comes to g3.
Oh, king h4.
Now f3 and king g3 are both possible, but f3 even stronger. The bishop is hanging. Oh, you know what he's thinking about? I thought he was thinking about maybe king g3, but no, unnecessary.
Now rook g7, bishop g4, takes on g4.
And
oh, very, very interesting position,
yeah,
but no time to analyze
better
it.
Here? Because these two passed pawns are super good, and now b7, that's a problem. I think king f3 was a blunder. Yeah, Maxime kind of shakes his head and just resigned. That game turned around fast.
Yeah, he had like 3 pawns, and he had exchanged queens.
Yeah. But, okay, Wei Yi just won his first game in more than 2 hours, right?
You know what would be fun to watch? I mean, I like MVL, but it would be more fun to watch if Wei Yi wins like a couple of games.
Yep.
And then it will be more interesting. I remember this epic comeback of Duda when he was 3 games down against Krishuk.
Yeah.
And then he won the last 3 or something like this. It was epic.
Yeah, he came back and tied it. That was still one of the most exciting matches we've ever had, for sure. But okay, Wei Yi gets his...
I'm hoping to see something like that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's do it. Come back, come back. Come on, crowd. You can chant, right? Show us your Wei Yi emotes if you're a subscriber to the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/chess. I don't know what kind of comeback emote we have in the Chess.com chat, but I'm sure you can think of something like a unicorn. That's like a comeback. So, because by the way, unicorns are making comebacks. I mean, in general, the unicorns are very popular. Like unicorn shirts, unicorn backpacks, that kind of stuff. So...
As you know, I'm not so good with the pop culture.
That's okay. That's
references.
Okay. Some would say I'm not so good either. Okay, is rook takes h5 coming here? That's what I want.
Queen d7 is a good move. Maybe bishop e3. Now you're threatening to take on f5 and go g4 next.
Ah, okay. I like that. You take f5. Can't take with the pawn because the bishop falls. And if you take with a piece, then g4, forking.
Oh, why bishop h3? Now there's queen f7, right?
Then g4.
G4.
Yeah,
G4,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, MVL is tricky here. Queen d8 stops g4. Or does it?
Yeah, it stopped because you take and go queen h4.
Okay, but this finds a way to win the pawn back if you're Maxime and keep a very good knight on d5. You can even trade on d4 and then find a way to castle long. White's in great shape. King e2. Look at that, opening up the queen h1 battery.
Very nice.
I love it. You know what I'd really love is for him to put his king on d3. Ah, he put the queen there. Wrong piece, Maxime.
Look at the time, even in bullet.
Yeah.
We
Way
playing
ahead.
just
Rook
too slow
h1.
for my liking.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Rook h1, hitting h7. G4, closing things up on the light squares.
97 check is
97
coming.
was just crushing on the spot, but Maxime, he gets away with a blunder.
Just rook h5 back. Yeah.
Rook comes to f5, Bob's your uncle. You lose on the clock.
Completely lost.
Losing on the board. Oh, man. This is just, this has been quite the turnaround. Well, we were wondering what it would take for Maxime to get his groove back, right?
Some luck and
some
and,
luck
and some excellent skills.
And a lot of skill, yeah. 97 now, you bring it to f5, threatens rook h7. Okay, taking d6 also does the trick. Well,
This is my favorite thing. When you're winning, you just take all the pawns away. So enjoyable.
It's so enjoyable. Is that sounded a little bit like, you know, sadistic.
Sadist, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with it. I'm kind of into it, but I'm just letting you know that sounded a little sadistic. Rook d6. Speaking of sadistic, Maxime is about to take a 6-game lead once again. Oh, man.
He should just resign, no way. Save some
Yeah, I
time.
think at this point he kind of knows it's over, and he's almost probably not even emotionally present right now. It's like shun, unshun, right? He doesn't want to talk about it. Now
Now
we're,
I think probably MVL will try to have some fun,
yeah,
with
yeah,
some
full bullet openings. Here
opening.
we go. I don't think
Like
we'll
this
see a
match
Bond Cloud,
of
but
Mamedaro against Giri.
yeah, yeah.
Remember, it's a match 3 or something.
Yeah, yeah, that was crazy. Although Mamedyarov started playing better with the bad openings.
Look at this position. so weird.
Yeah, this is not chess you would advise people to go for. But look at Maxime turning it into a huge center and just an ideal position. Even knight takes b4 is a pot. Okay, he goes for it because the pawn is pinned.
Bishop f5, go.
Bishop f5, do it.
0-1.
Yeah, it's about to happen. Bishop f5. Oh, he goes bishop e6.
Oh,
Why not bishop f5?
I don't see why. Rook a2? No, knight c2 anyways.
No, you still had knight
it was
d3
lost.
just winning the
Yeah.
queen. I think he just missed bishop
Yeah.
f5. Okay, this move threatens d4, but bishop f5 was threatening, but not only knight c2 everyone, but also knight d3 winning the queen. So was a W. And maybe Maxime loses this one now because of it. That knight is still under attack. All right, he gets it back to c6. No.
How do you lose this with black? You just
I mean,
go back
I've
knight
lost
c2
worse.
and-
So
Sorry?
I've lost games worse than this, but yeah. Yeah, it should be hard to lose this with black. Here comes the other rook to c8. And that's going to be a problem.
I would play knight c6 actually, because rook c8, queen b3 is slightly annoying.
There you go.
And you can't develop the knight on b1. It's very pleasant.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a big problem. So he's going to try to fix that development problem by playing a4. But black will trade queens and then win the a4 pawn in the process. a4. Black's hungry.
What do you think of Wei's play in bullet so far?
I mean, right now I think he's doing what we expect. I mean, MVL is one of the toughest characters here. So I think it's hard to expect him to make a comeback. If you're asking overall, what do I think of Wei's performance in Bullet? I think he's consistently surprised people by how good he's been throughout the Juniors Features Championship. But right now he's just, I don't know. He's doing what I would expect. King takes d4 would have allowed a fork on e2. But I expect Maxime to dominate this portion much like he did the 3-1. Gosh, if you're just joining us, look at that score. Maxime won 8-2 in the 3-1 portion.
Wow, that's a huge win.
That's a huge disparity there. Okay, Wei gets the rook to b6. Oh no, he doesn't. He missed this. Oh, the knight repeats with it. It's all just falling apart.
Yeah, it's too one-sided now.
I thought rook takes c6 worked as well because the rook would go to b6, but
Yeah, there was check.
it was check. I always forget those checks, you know. Well,
e6, g5.
we
This is
obviously got to
desperation.
talk to the players in the interview. What are we going to ask them, Vidit? I mean, surely we should ask Maxime how he dealt with being down 5.5, 1.5, how he kept himself calm, and you know.
Sure, and maybe ask Wei what he thinks he could have done better.
Yeah, to not lose
Yeah,
the
because-
lead.
Mm-hmm. To get his first-hand experience of this major tilt.
Yep. Then we'll dive into the obviously much more important questions, the snacks of choice for Maxime today.
Did you see the piece trap?
Did he just blunder the piece?
Yeah.
LOL. LOL. We've got a Chess.com LOL emote, a lol emote, showing me at my fattest. There you go. Enjoy that.
How much
that.
time is left of bullet actually?
The what?
How much time is left of the bullet section?
We have
Like-
16 minutes, pretty much
So it's still
exactly.
possible to, win like a couple of games.
It sure is, yeah.
And
Right.
in bullet, major tilts can happen.
Yeah.
I don't
It's happened before.
expect today, but it could.
How do you find a way to get an attack here? You'd love to remove that knight from e3 and slip the queen over here, but you got to deal with your pieces first. And look at Maxime. He's getting...
He got counterplay.
Yeah, he's
in
getting a
this
lot
game.
of counterplay, down a piece or not.
But okay, king f8 should be also winning.
Wow,
Okay,
the queen getting in trouble, but no way to trap it. Probably knight d5 at some point here is what the doctor ordered, but the problem is you don't really want to trade any pieces as white. Preparing it now. Now knight d5 will come, because if you take, we take with check.
So bishop e5.
Okay, but watch out. Watch out, actually. This is... If this game goes Maxime's way, this would be the icing on the cake. No
King
more...
f8.
Queen b7. Where's the mate? d6.
Black should win it, no?
Queen h7 is now... Okay, he takes
Oh,
f3.
he won the f3 also.
Everything's changing.
Rook on h4 is kind of trapped. Bad technique.
Bad technique for sure. If you play queen g2, you can even try to get the g file if you're Maxime. I'm surprised he didn't go for that.
Okay, now it's
yeah,
solid
now it
again.
should be easy for Wei Yi. Famous last words. Should be easy.
Easy? Not so
Maybe
sure.
maybe I was
F4.
wrong about
Go
that.
Go for f4.
Uh-oh.
Rook f4 is a
Uh-oh.
bad move. Rook f4 is a terrible move.
Oh my gosh. Maxime
Queen e4.
continuing.
It's painful to watch now.
Well, at least we got a smile there from Wei Yi. He's like, well, if I can't win those games, I might not win it all, right? That's I'm pretty sure that's what that smile meant.
It's painful to watch, at least for me. I mean,
It sure is. But you know it's not going to be painful to watch? All of our upcoming events, especially because some of them have you competing. We've got the Speed Chess Championship. Okay, as you can see, that's underway. We've got the Pro Chess League qualifier for the 2020 season on September 28th. Then we've got the FIDE Chess.com Grand Swiss. That's where Vidit Gujrathi and many others will be trying for a spot in the candidates tournament, which ultimately decides the next challenger to the World Chess Championship. So the Chess.com FIDE Grand Swiss is a big deal. Make sure you've got your October free. And then the Fisher Random World Chess Championship. We should probably also add the Fisher Random quarterfinals October 4th through 6th, since that's when you'll be playing, Vidit. But and maybe you'll be playing in Norway as well. But that's our big events right there. And also reminder, let's bring it up right here because we still got Vidit. October 4th through 6th. Wow, MVL wins another game. This is getting out of control. But coming up soon, we have 8 of our 9 players remaining. We will decide 3 of them who will move on to play in the World Chess Championship in Oslo, where they will be joined by the unofficial reigning Fisher Random World Chess Champion. That's Magnus Carlsen. So,
Danny, so did you just see the opening?
I'm seeing it
would love
now. I'm seeing it now. That's just crazy.
G4, G5, G6. That's trolling. That's not so nice of Maxime.
Well,
He's
you know,
bullying-
that sometimes happens. G4, G5, G6. I mean, frankly, this looks like a new gambit. I kind of like White's position.
He's bullying Wei.
He takes with the king on D2. That's unnecessary.
This is just trolling. He's just now having fun.
Yeah.
Would you be pissed if you were like in Wei's position?
Not really, because I think these guys know that they're, you know, streaks like this happen, and
No,
you know,
I mean pissed at the trolling of MVL.
no, it's what I'm saying. I don't know that I would be. I mean, again, maybe it's just because I'm used to being abused on camera all the time. I don't know. I mean, so if you're asking me personally, like, I wouldn't be offended, but you know, I think sometimes when it rains, it pours, and we see that, right? At the high levels, even, you know, somebody has to get last place, and if you're not on form against a really strong player like MVL, bleep happens, right? Isn't that why they invented the bumper sticker? Bleep happens. So this is just...
and he's still winning.
Oh my gosh, he
After
just
all
takes
this.
a 5 and he's forking him on E7. It's out of control.
Oh no! Oh
It's
no!
out of control right now.
Knight C5. Yeah.
You
just
still
lost.
can't take with the queen, everyone. We had a fork on E7. This is just nasty.
You have to predict MVL's next opening.
Okay. I'm going to say f6, king f7.
Wow. I think G5 with black. If white plays E4, he'll go G5.
Okay, I think
Let's
f6,
see.
king f7 is next. Here we go. F6,
No,
f6.
Wei Yi
Oh,
plays
no.
G4.
Wei Yi's going right back at him. I love it. Erase G1. Let's get some G4 double exclam emotes out there.
They're just having fun.
There you go. Well, stick around. In 10 minutes, we're going to have the players join us for interviews, and it's always interesting to hear these players' insights regardless of the result. Obviously, this one seems to be in the bag, and some of our first-round matchups are fun for different reasons. Even if they aren't as close, sometimes they become clinics with one player flexing. In this case, Maxime is he's a boss. So are you playing in the Pro Chess League this year?
Yes, I'm playing for the Chennai Cheetahs, the new team.
Oh, that's right. And who's Vichy playing for? He played last year for Mumbai. Is he playing again?
I have no idea. I thought you should be. You should know that, no, Danny?
I'm supposed to. I don't pay attention to things
You're
anymore,
asking me.
I'm
You're
busy,
asking me.
man.
It's your tournament.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, I think Vichy's playing, but I don't remember for who. But the Pro Chess League, where the best players in the world compete on a team.
Is there a team of Chess Kid?
He's very involved with Chess Kid, and I do talk to him about that. We talked about that in St. Louis, and he's been an awesome ambassador. Chess Kid is already growing in India. If you didn't know, chesskid.com. It's where all the cool kids play. So go check it out. Rook h4. Okay, it looks like Wei Yi's about to strike. I'm calling it. A Wei Yi victory in this game. Actually, that might be a little premature, but I'm thinking he gets a win.
Now the only thing which is keeping me interested is the opening choices in the
Look
match.
at this. Wei Yi gets a victory. A W. West side. W.
He should at least go in 2 figures. G4. I think all the rest of the games. It's
Yeah, it
going
will
to
be G4. Every
Yeah.
G4 gets an emote, just like an angel gets its wings.
Rook on E5. What is this?
Maxime is laughing to himself right now. This is awesome. This
Rook
is
E6.
literally
This
how
is
my kids
bizarre.
play chess. And I tell them, don't bring your rook out first in front of the pawns. And hey, luckily they don't ever watch any of these shows. So, hey, somebody stole my G4 emote. That was my idea. Who stole that?
Oh, you can make emotes?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Blitzstream took it. Class. Oh, wait, no, he deserves it more than me because he's a Grob guy. He legit plays G4. So, okay. All right, you win, Kevin. You get to have it. By the way, speaking of which, Kevin is covering this event, this match at our French channel. So for all of Maxime's fans who will be very happy that he weathered the storm and made a comeback. Kevin Bordy, known as Blitzstream.
I
Anyway.
just read a comment on Twitch which said that I need to open my mind up. Do
Yeah.
you know what it means?
He needs to open his mind a bit. I don't know. It could just be a direct reference to you needing to watch The Matrix again. I'm trying to free your mind, Vidit.
I love when I see the comments of people, and they troll you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun.
Oh, it happens all the time, right? In fact, we should remind people they can follow you on Twitch. You're not a regular streamer as much as we'd like you to be. You're busy, but we work with Vidit as much as we can, and maybe this will be a little bit of motivating. But you know what, you guys, the 2019 calendar makes it so it's hard for me to push anybody to stream. I'm kind of like, just rest, buddy, just rest, just stay fresh, But go to twitch.tv/ViditChess to follow his channel.
Would you watch if I stream?
Of course I'll watch. I'll subscribe to your channel, and I think a lot of other people in the chat would too. I think you'd have some subscribers for sure.
I'll consider it. And my first opening will be G4 if I stream.
Yeah, if you stream. All
Inspired
right, there you
by
go.
this
We're
man.
calling it right now. All right. the route continues here. We've got about 5 minutes left before the interviews will commence. We'll see what the players think. Right now, I think Maxime is having a good time. Are we going to get all G4 for the rest of the day? At this point, I'd be disappointed if we had anything but G4. Oh, we should do that. Yeah, we should do a team chess battle. I mean, I think you and Anish might be better than me and Robert in some ways, but in some ways maybe not so much.
You know, I would like that, but I'll be probably trolled by my own teammate.
Yeah, he's not a very easy guy to get along with. I know this. Everybody knows it.
No,
G4, G5. Okay,
it'll be fun.
More G4 emotes coming. No, let's do it. Let's do a team chess battle, even if. Yeah. So you'll have a teammate there. We'll find it. We'll find a team that can throw down with you guys. Honestly, that's a really strong team. Vidit Gujrathi and Anish Giri. So we'll try to come up with one.
You should throw this challenge to him on Twitter.
I will. I think me and Robert could take you guys, though, because me and Robert have this chemistry that just brings out the best in him and the worst in me all the time. And that ends up making a really good combination for shows. Or we could do it where we'll have, like, me and you versus Robert and Anish. And we know that Anish would love to be on Robert's team. So...
so many exciting combinations.
It's gonna be so
is it like pair blitz?
Yeah, we can do like they have like wife swap. We can do partner swap. We can just swap teammates, right? Right? We'll just
You're getting creative.
We'll swap, and there'll be a rule that Danny gets to choose any position he wants at any time. I can just choose the position I want and switch teammates. I like this game we're coming up with here. Yeah, team chess battle's coming up. Nick, I know you're listening. We got to make that happen. Let's make that happen. Let's talk to Anish. I'll ping him on Skype right now, and we'll get Vidit. We'll get Vidit to help me convince him.
I think he will have a couple of conditions.
He's probably watching the show. He does nothing better. He acts like he's busy, and then he comments on all the shows he's watching.
You should have extra points for trolling. And trash talking. He will join
that's true.
you.
We'll make it like a fan prize where the crowd, the Twitch chat can donate for the best trash talker throughout the day. I love it.
Yeah. Anish has very good chances to win that, though. I mean, I'm like 1600 when it comes to that.
In terms of trash talking?
Yes.
Wow. I don't know if that's true. You've held your own today. I think just trashing Anish doesn't seem to be a problem for you. So
yes,
I think we'll make it so you're not on his team for fun.
It's kind of sad that we stopped watching the games.
I know. I don't even know what's going on. It's been all G4 all day.
I mean, look at the openings. D4, knight f6, G4. Look at MVL giving us name G5. I mean, what the hell?
They're calling each other's bluff right now. Who's going to make the first good move?
I mean, MVL is also enjoying. Look at the position.
Yep. Okay, B5. Look at this. Wei Yi's laughing. No, MVL's laughing. Wei Yi's raising him. Crazy.
B5. Oh, God. This is pure entertainment. B5, B4. C5.
Wow.
What's going on? This is epic.
Maybe there could be a smothered mate.
I think the full points to Wei Yi for being a good sport and going along with this, you know. I would not be able to do that, what he did.
Well, it's hard, but I think he also considered himself an underdog, right? So even though he was winning and he would have liked it to stay that way, I guess in the end it didn't necessarily change the way he thought the match was going to go. I mean, I guess he considered Maxime to be the heavy favorite, so. Joe Slim in the Chess TV chat wants to know where you can find the games. We have news articles, of course, where you can see summaries, but if you look up anyone's username or profile on Chess.com, Like literally just click the username right now, Leon Beast, and you go to their profile. You can see any game anyone has ever played on Chess.com. So easiest thing to do is to just go to someone's profile and look at their history if you're looking for games in some of the more recent matches. Pro tip for everybody there. We've got 50 seconds. I think officially this will... Actually, I can't say officially be our last game. Could be anything. I have no idea what's happening next.
I think it's the last game.
You think so? Was
This
that
game is worthy of being the last
Was
game.
that wishful
Just
thinking?
look at the first 10 moves.
Oh, man. Queen D3. Now you're threatening Queen H3 and Queen G3 to get the queens off the board. Okay, this is...
You should
okay,
look
take
at
me
the
forward with
first
the rook.
10 moves
Take me
and
forward with the
then
rook and
again.
mate yourself. Oh, I wanted him to mate himself with rook D1. Come on, Wei Yi. Win the last game. Come on, get him. Get him, Wei Yi. Openly rooting for Wei Yi right now. Rook D2. Crush him. Get him.
Queen E3.
Queen E3. Darn it, Maxime. Oh, man. Queen D6. Hitting the F8 rook. Okay, I love it. Threaten mate on F2. No. You don't have much time. Move! Okay. Something tells me that I'm not going to get the victory I wanted for Wei Yi. Okay,
think
only
we'll
2
lose some
seconds,
time.
though. No time for anybody, and Wei Yi goes down on the clock. Oh, man. And we have a final score in the books, 21-10. After an hour in this match, where the score was 5.5, 1.5, Wei Yi led. I would, if you had told anybody that this would be the final score, you would have been slapped silly, right? Called crazy and Shirley. Don't go anywhere. What?
I didn't expect that it'll be such a big difference, and especially the way it started.
Well, don't go anywhere.
Major tilt.
We're going to be joined by the players here in just a moment. Interviews from the Speed Chess Championship when we return. And we are now joined by our players of the second Speed Chess Championship match of the 2019 calendar year. With us here, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, Wei Yi. The final score 21-10. Maxime, when you were down 5.5, 1.5, I think a lot of people would have thought this final score was crazy. But first of all, how did you hold it together? Psychologically, was there ever a frustrating moment where you just knew you weren't playing your best chess? And then, what thoughts can you give about how you kept your mindset in the right place as you started to make a comeback?
It was very frustrating from the start. So, I remember. When I went to -2, it wasn't that much undeserved. But then I lost 2 games in a row, which I think at least one of them I should have won, and that was 3 minutes ahead on the clock. Then I started blundering everything, and I realized that just where you would take any chances he got, even in the most desperate of positions, I had to remain super accurate. And then there was this, at least it felt to me it was a turning point. It was actually immediately the game after game 7, which I finally won after I was a piece up, but I was shaking with my mouse on how to figure out to stop that past C pawn and to stop any counterplay. And finally I won this game, and suddenly I gained momentum. I think I won 7 or 8 in a row, actually. And then, once you start such a streak going, of course, it suddenly feels very good, and it feels like everything was working together again.
Well, it seemed like it did. Wei Yi, did you feel you could win this match coming in? Did you feel like you had a chance to win?
Yes, maybe after I won 5 games in a row, but when I won those games, I think maybe I was in the dream. But then I lost 7 games or 8 games. Okay, I'm not.
So what did you learn then from this experience? You had a big lead, right? You lost in the end,
Yeah.
but what did you learn from this experience of having a big lead in this format and seeing it go away?
I don't know.
You learned that Maxime is really good, I guess?
I think he missed some chances in those games. And then maybe also I missed some chances.
Psychologically, did you ever lose your confidence at some point where would that be something that was hard to gather in the format? Did you feel like you lost your confidence at any point? Wei Yi? I was asking if you felt like you lost your confidence at some point.
Yes, after I lost 7 games, and I lost my confidence.
Yeah. Well, we know it's hard. Maxime, you haven't been playing well since I shaved your beard, but now you're playing better. You want to talk about that?
Actually, the first few games after you shaved me were all right, but then I just ran out of gas, and today it felt like at first that the motor was broken. I couldn't start the engine, but as things happen, sometimes you just need one time that you start the juice, and then it all flows.
So you're not blaming me for some of your exhaustion. It's not because I shaved you.
I doubt you had anything to do with that. I'm very sorry to give you the terrible news.
Okay. We're going to come back to this. Vidit, do you have any questions for our players?
Yeah. Why did MVL, Vachier start trolling Wei Yi with G4? That's my question.
No, that was a reference to Blitzstream, of course. Because there's this French streamer, Blitzstream,
Yeah.
who always goes G4, even against Magnus. So, I just paid my respects.
I bet the fans over there were loving it with Blitzstream. Wei Yi, but you responded with, you had some G5 of your own. You played G4. What was your favorite opening you played in the end, Wei Yi? What was the favorite opening you played in the end with the G4 idea?
G4, yes. Okay, G4 is very interesting. Yes, and we played a lot of G4 games, yeah.
Yeah, well, it was fun to watch. Maxime, you're now the recipient of 2 matches where you were basically given the victory. One by Wei Yi here, obviously, he was up 5.5, 1.5, and he decided out of mercy for you to let you come back. Just like I was up 2 games against you in Giant Chess and decided I didn't want to see a man from France struggle. How do you feel that people are so generous to you and let you win these matches?
Danny, you're only generous, because you have no choice. Not
What's Giant Chess, by the way?
You haven't watched our videos, our Giant Chess videos?
No, I just know normal chess. What's Giant Chess?
Vidit, I love you, man, and I appreciate you stepping in here today, but you have got to step up your game before our next commentary session together. I'm going to help you bring it up. I'm going to help you bring it up to be aware of all the ways I'm making myself look like an idiot on camera. So you can be a part of making fun of me.
I sign up for that.
Yeah, exactly. We'll give you the link. It's a game that Maxime and I have been doing now for 5 years running. It's been a while, right?
Yeah.
Playing giant bullet chess outside of the World Chess Hall of Fame. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, but I don't really have any other questions to say. Maxime, jokes aside, obviously congratulations. A lot of people look at you as one of the favorites to potentially win this whole thing. You are the 2 seed overall, right there with Hikaru Nakamura. So let me ask you early while we have you. You've never lost a Speed Chess Championship match to anybody but Hikaru, right?
No, I lost to Sasha.
Oh, you lost to Sasha last year, right? But
also, I think your algorithm doesn't think of me as too much of a favorite because I'm like 3% wins the whole thing.
Well, I mean, if you want to prove the algorithm wrong, this is your opportunity, right?
Yeah, I know.
So, anyway, what do you look at you need to do this year to win the Speed Chess Championship? Like, I mean, is it just get rest and continue to trust yourself, or have you learned anything through all your experience playing in these formats that you'll use this year?
Well, I will just have to, to think myself that I'm able to play like 3 or 4 more days of chess after what I'm enduring.
Right.
But it's okay. My schedule until the end of the year after the World Cup is going to be much more lenient.
Well, before we let you guys go, Wei Yi, last question for you. If you're invited to play next year, will you play again in either the Junior Speed Chess Championship or the main Speed Chess Championship? I guess you might be older than a junior next year, but if you're invited, will you play again?
Yes, I think I will play.
Okay, well, we love hearing that. Vidit, unless you have any other questions for our players, we will congratulate Maxime and wish them best for the next round.
Yeah, no more questions. Congrats, Maxime.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Enjoy your evening and day there, wherever you are in the world. We know it's a big one. So, bye, everybody.
Yeah, bye.
All right, Vidit. Well, we've got it in the books now. Just me and you left here. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave takes it 21-10. This was obviously not the way we saw this one going, given how it started, right?
Yeah, it was also interesting for me to commentate my first time. Pity that the last half an hour we couldn't commentate much.
Yeah, but it was fun, right? I mean...
Yeah, it was fun. And I'm looking forward to the match which you suggested, the team battle. I'm eager. I'm excited about that.
We have to do that. I don't know yet what the teams will be. It might be me and Anish versus you and Hess. That might be the most fair.
I think anything is fine as long as you bring Anish. It'll be fun.
And as long as you're on the other side against Anish and you can talk trash about him when he can't hear you, I think that's what everyone wants. So, this has been a blast, man. I don't know what else to say besides thank you, and it's been a lot of fun. Um,
I had fun too. And now probably you can call Eric and ask why he overslept.
yeah, exactly. We'll make sure that he pays dearly for this one. But the event is coming to a close here today. Let me remind everybody, tomorrow we have Nepomniachtchi versus Dan Yelyin. More Speed Chess Championship action all week. We won't have Vidit Gujrathi, I assume, as a host, but thank you again so much, man. This really was a great and special treat that you stepped in for us.
Thank you.
All right. On behalf of everyone here at Chess.com, working hard behind the scenes, all of our mods, thank you so much for the work you do, both at Chess.com TV and Twitch. And everyone working hard. The SCC rolls on. We have another person in round 2. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave joins Dingley Ren. What will happen tomorrow? Tune in at 7 a.m. Pacific. We'll see you then, everybody.